and will be hit.
All right. We're waiting. We're waiting on D-Batch.
Creed to you.
Is that how you wanted to start the show?
He'll do it too. I know he will.
I will.
Let me click on that and get in here. All right. Now let me do this. It's gonna pop up any second.
And will be.
There you go. Yes, Zucker. It's the first thing he's heard. You singing. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Real Deal Xbox Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody in the chat, you are, of course, you guys are the hardcore that are actually awake while we're going live, and you like to watch us live sometimes. So thank you so much. We do appreciate it. We got a ton of great topics today and a great panel, including Randolph Thor himself. We'll get to that. D-Batch is running late. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I guess he hasn't put anything in the chat yet, but apparently, hopefully he will. So, guys, again, thanks for watching us. Hit the like button, share it out, tell a buddy or two. We do appreciate it. And let's get into some intros, and then we'll get into some shout-outs while people follow in. Colt Eastwood, how you been?
Good. My name's Colt Eastwood. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do RDX.
What'd you have for dinner?
I haven't yet. We'll see if I can make it through the podcast.
Oh, God. All right. So as we move throughout the show, Colt will melt into a puddle as time goes. We've also got Tim Dog. God damn it. That name always gets me. Tim Dog, how you been?
How you doing? What's going on?
All right. And Zucker.
Here?
Okay. Tim's still going. Sorry. Go ahead. You happy to be here?
Now?
You can hear me. No, I was just saying happy to be here. I said like 2 things, so
okay.
Make it 4.
See, chat, they're surprising me. He said 2 things this week, and I expected 3. So, Zucker, thanks for joining us, buddy. You're here as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. There's a lot of good topics to talk about, and I'm excited, man. I had a long week of work so far, and it's only freaking Tuesday, so I was looking forward to the podcast, and yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff to talk about, people. Like after Dealer posted the topics we have a chat, and he gave us the topics. I was excited for it, and everybody in the chat seems excited. You can tell. So let's get into it.
D's in here, by the way, but I can't. His mic's lighting up, but I cannot.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
D, are you there, D? D,
what's up?
blink twice if you need help.
Can you guys hear me? Is this thing on?
Hey,
Yes,
D-Batch, welcome back to the show, brother. How you been?
I've been good. Honest to tell you, it's just a really hectic time for me in my line of work, and yeah, it's good to kind of break away from that and talk about some gaming stuff. I also, I don't know, I didn't look at the topics, to be honest with you, because I'm rushing in. I'm coming in hot. I don't have all my tools, so just bear with me. but I have a little bit of bad news. My PlayStation 5 last night, it started to freaking artifact, and I'm freaking out over here, man.
You damn Xbox! Quit lying.
Oh my gosh! Trust me, I said this is some kind of weird karma. It's like some anti-karma or something. What's going on here?
What do you do? I mean, what do you do in your spare time? Box old ladies in the alley? What's happening?
I don't know, man. But I fired up that Spider-Man. Everything was good. I was loving it. I was enjoying it. Then I blinked and I saw some artifact, and I was like, "Am I tripping? No, I'm just tripping."
Oh
man.
no!
Maybe I'm just tripping. And then it started talking. He started talking the fact again. I was like, "No, man." I said, "Okay, it's gonna be something with the game."
Oh
so
my god!
I started to record because I said people are not gonna believe it. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, he's a filthy Xbox. He's a liar." So I started to record it, and it started to artifact like every 30 seconds or so. I said, "Okay, maybe it's the game." So I backed out into the menu, and it was artifacting in the menu. I was like, "Oh no!" I just turned it off. I haven't turned it on since. So. Let's just hope it was a false alarm. I don't know, man.
Is it like the big artifact pieces or little dots?
Was there any dinosaur bones in there?
It went really sparkly, like a quick flash of artifacting, and then like the screen kind of going in 2 different ways and artifacting really quick. And it happens like within 2 seconds, and it happens like in 20 to 30 second intervals.
That's crazy, man. So you actually started to see some of that on your own system, and you recorded footage. That sucks, man. It's the exact reason mine hasn't really been messed with a lot right now. I kind of am waiting for. Did they have word on a patch for that?
I don't know, but me, I bet I can do all kinds of crazy stuff. So to be fair, I did have my PlayStation 5 in standby mode for like 3 days because I just wanted to test, everyone saying don't have it in standby mode. So I wanted to see if I was affected by that. And I wasn't affected by that. It come back on. Everything was fine. It didn't fucking crash. It didn't ask me to rebuild the database. So I said, okay, so this issue's not happening to me. So there's one for science. I took one for the team. It's fine. And then lo and behold, later on in the night, I start to see this artifacting in Spider-Man. So like I said, I turned it off from last night. I'll try it again tonight. Hopefully he doesn't do it again. Oh, I'm scared though. Can't lie.
Oh, man, that sucks. I'm definitely going to be looking out for news of that before I put a lot of time into it. For those who don't follow me on Twitter, I did post I got a PS5. I've always said, hey, I'm getting one day one if I can get it. I managed to get one. And again, the thing is, it's big. Like that, I didn't get to really talk about this last show, but it is huge. That's not a big deal. My problem is it looks like the worst part of the 80s escaped in my entertainment center. Like, it's fucking hideous under there on that little dog shit stand. And it clashes with everything in that entertainment center. And that might seem like a whine or a gripe, but imagine if your favorite console came out in beige or the ugliest color you fucking hated. It's like, this thing, it just looks weird to me. That's why I wanted the digital edition, and only Randall was cool enough to get one. Speaking of Randall, thanks for joining us, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, dealer. It's always good to be on RDX. It's like, what, twice in less than a month, huh?
Is it?
Record or something. I think so.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
About a month. Yeah.
Always welcome, Randall. You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
I will echo what you said. That PS5 really stands out in my entertainment center.
OLED, sleek, fucking.
Well, my
what's up with
entertainment
this?
center is like all black, and it's like here's this big white thing that just fills up one of the like slots where you can place it horizontal, and the Xbox kind of just sits on its side. And because I game in the dark and I have the backlights on the TV, like the Xbox, you don't even know it's there, but you got this thing that has like the blue lights coming out from underneath.
Stop hating, Xbox.
That's the PS5 right there.
I think it looks like a really nice decorative, like 1991 vase.
Taco show. Anyway, we got to get some shout outs. And again, 1,000 people here during the intro. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for watching, checking us out. Hit the like button, share it out to a buddy or two, and maybe retweet it. We do appreciate it, guys. I will be getting back into content this week. Last week, just a lot of family stuff and helping people out and doing things. And it's crazy. So I will be back to normal, hopefully content wise, this week. And part of that, one of the big part of that is this show, RDX. And again, thank you guys for joining us. Fight Night Champion, Xbox Series X. That's what it's running on. You don't see the auto HDR, but this game holds up so well for being like 10 years old or something. It's incredible. I'm on the right, by the way. My brother's on the left.
Your ass kicked?
Yeah, I've been getting fucked up.
He was Ali and got fucking decked and went down like a car.
My brother power punched the fuck out of Ali's head. He's done. He's out. So.
Ali doesn't have a head, bro. Just a freaking body just fell.
Hey, but yeah, enjoy the footage, guys. And we do some crazy shit in this. We're just fucking around, wailing half the time. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let me get into some shout outs real quick. So, my patron tier, and I will update this in a few days. Game Genie Prime, Slim73, Pink Orcbot, Costanza, Wayne, Scout Super 74, KY Bob, shout out to him, I talked to him today. Wakanda XNT, Goose 8402, DT Baggins, Straw Hat Khalifa, Bad Boy Live, shout out to Bad Boy as well. Assassin Lupa, Foreign Object, Gabqueeze, Teo, John Blue, Vegboss, Deviator X, Real Deal Nil, Suicide King. We've also got Tasteless Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, All Might, Alfonso Hogan, A Squad, Gaz, AJ Hutton, Dark CMF, Nick Bodvanaski. Shout out to you guys, patron tier in the shout out tier. So thank you so much. And the rest of the patrons should be in that little scroll wheel at the top of the screen. We'll update it in a few days. So again, thank you for what you do. Let's talk about this apparent PS5 downgrade that people are claiming. This is a God. I know, right? This is pretty interesting. If you've been keeping up with us, we've been talking about the issues that have been reported on both consoles over the last 2 weeks. And something that's been reported by random people on Twitter is that Ubisoft intentionally downgraded the PS5 version of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We've had people from Digital Foundry deleting tweets and doing things, but basically they did want to go in and patch the performance of Xbox Series X and at least remedy the screen tear and get rid of some of those issues like we said they would last week. And yeah, the PS5 version is now apparently worse, and that's coming from some people on Twitter, not me. Now, what happened with all of this first and foremost, Colt Eastwood?
They down resolution on the Xbox Series X. It goes as low as 1188p.
I love 1188p.
Get rid of the screen tearing. Screen tearing is nearly eliminated. I'm not using VRR because I'm passing through a PC for recording.
Mm-hmm.
Capture card,
but, I don't really ever see any screen tearing anymore, but they're basically running the resolution lower than the PS5 with the Xbox Series X has a better GPU, so I don't know what's going on there. But there is some...
We kind of do.
Yeah. So the which we'll get into. But the PS5 is running has bigger spikes in the FPS department. So yeah, not a fun situation. It's one of those things like stop celebrating until everything gets ironed out. The launch version of Valhalla was running kind of funky or really bad on the Xbox. They remedied that, but it's still doing things less than the PS5. Now the PS5 has its own problems. As far as, I mean, who knows? Maybe one person is doing this patch from home. Who knows how this is?
Well, they just say Watch Dogs, Legion runs the same pretty much.
Yeah, I don't say that as an insult, but maybe they said to this one person, hey, can you patch this game up? I don't know how they're doing this stuff from home. It's really crappy. So,
well, I mean, they just get the tools and, you know, VPN into their systems and get them at their house and work on them. But it's what's been said for how many months now, or for how long, is that these systems are new. Like, this isn't a mid-generation jump. This is a full-on next-gen jump. These tools are going to take time. All these games are going to be variable. They're going to change over time until developers get comfortable with them. You know, that's just a freaking
Well, hang
fact.
on. Are you making that up, Zalker, or did a Dirt 5 developer say that? And
No, I just got a $5 Taco Bell box from Xbox. They paid me for it. And so
Hell
that's why
yeah!
I'm saying it.
Hey, shout out to
it's
J
just
Dub real quick.
stupid.
Look at, but unfortunately, J Dub, for you to have a super chat read, it's at least $50, sir. Hey, no, shout out to J Dub, and we've got some other guys in here as well. Do appreciate it, guys. Again, I'll get to some of these super chats here in a minute, but you're right, Colt. They did remedy some of the weird performance glitches, like in the doorway where you would randomly lose 15 frames. But they also added a 60 FPS mode for the Series S, right?
Yeah, and it's actually super phenomenal. I'm the only one on this panel that has a Series S. I actually played it like almost 2 hours and forgot. You have one, D?
Yeah, I have one.
Did you play Valhalla at 60 on the S?
No.
It's freaking awesome. And I knew that it was running, that it wasn't running at a high resolution, but it looks so great. I'm like, wow, this runs really good. There wasn't any tearing. And I forgot that I wasn't playing on the Xbox Series X because, you know, you're not used to playing like a big open world game at 60 FPS unless you're on a new console or on a big beefy console. So really impressive. And we're also starting to see the Series S do some great things with Borderlands, which is a whole other story that's doing some funky stuff too.
What's happening there?
At least it's achieving the 1440p now. And when I was looking at all the analysis, it says that basically it's holding the 60 FPS in Assassin's Creed better than some of the other systems now. So that's a thing in itself. And like Zocker was saying, like Dealer, like all of us been saying, like it's a little bit early to be doing the victory lap. Like these consoles haven't even been out like 3 weeks yet, and everyone's doing like victory laps. And we see the first, you know, real patch, and this is the first of many. They're going to patch this game several times, and we're already seeing that the performance is starting to scale towards where it's supposed to be. Now, everything is not the way it should be, and I'll be honest, like I'm going to give Ubisoft a little bit of shit. I'm going to give Microsoft a little bit of shit. I understand the situation, but at the same time, you're launching at a deficit already without any first party games. So make sure that these games are running up to snuff, and they're showing the power that you have over the competition on your Series X. And we're not seeing that right now. So a lot of guys were like jumping up saying, hey, look at the PlayStation 5 is doing this. And now that we see this patch for Assassin's Creed come in, and now it's where it should be. There's still more room to grow, but the frames are running a lot better on the Series X. And I even saw Digital Foundry tweet out, they said they didn't say it in their video, but they want to say on record that the PlayStation 5 should also lower the resolution in order to achieve, you know, a more steady frame rate, because they're having a lot of dips here and there because they're keeping their frame rate high. And I think over time we're going to see that the Xbox Series X is just a better performer, and it's launch woes. It is what it is. Disappointing, but it is what it is.
Look, Salvador, by the way, says disappointment after disappointment on the Xbox team. He says it doesn't care what the reason is. Xbox performing well. Yes, we've said this. Just because we tell you what's happening, right? Remember, we were talking about the tools and all this stuff weeks and weeks and weeks ago, right? And we get articles about it, and then the Dirt 5 developer says we don't know how to use RDNA 2 features and stuff. It takes time to learn this. I mean, this is all I've shown this, right? We're not telling you it's okay, or making excuses, or telling you to wait. We're telling what is happening, most of the time before it happens, and we're telling you why. And we don't like the fact it's happening, but that's not really the topic. And we're kind of getting, off track here. But again, we do have to get back to so when it comes to the PS5 version, Rand, was it actually downgraded? What happened to this version of the game?
Well, I thought it wasn't downgraded.
Exactly.
I thought everybody on Twitter complained and were making up ridiculous conspiracy theories that, Phil Spencer picked up the phone and called Yves Guillemot and was like, "You're making the world's most powerful console look bad, Yves. We're going to have to dump another $2 million into your account to get right." And that obviously didn't happen. And there was it wasn't downgraded whatsoever.
So why were they saying that?
Because a lot of people are just idiots.
Was it losing frames or something? What happened there? Why did John delete some tweets?
I think it was like screen tearing more or something like that. But apparently the game really wasn't changed whatsoever.
It didn't. It didn't remedy the screen tearing. It didn't reduce it any. And then there was some frame dips. And before, like John said, if you can, don't use this patch. And as far as I know, you can't play an Xbox game without updating, and I'm pretty sure on PlayStation you can't play a game.
Well, no, you can go offline.
Can you forego the patch on PlayStation?
You can play offline and not update the game, take your system offline and stuff like that. But I just find it so ridiculous that you have people doubting the legitimacy of hey, the Series X is, Phil talked about waiting longer because they wanted the RDNA 2 full feature set, and
he also said that because of the investments, we've decided to make choices on the engineering and software side that have years to play out. I don't know specifically what he's talking about there.
But the point is they waited longer, and PS5's dev kits were out earlier, and by all accounts,
stop damage control.
It's just easier to make games or to get your game up and running on the PlayStation 5 than Xbox, right? But that's not really the point I wanted to make. It was just, you have these guys who doubt that, but then immediately jump to these, conspiracy theories about one company paying another to downgrade a version. But then if you follow that
wasn't
logic,
J-Dub, was it?
I don't know. I don't know. But if you follow that logic, right? If you really do believe in the sense that Phil or somebody at Xbox would pay Ubisoft to downgrade a game, then you would also have to believe the logic that, hey, maybe Jim Ryan put in a phone call to Ubisoft and paid them to downgrade the Xbox version to make.
God damn it, Jim Ryan!
Oh my God, Jim Ryan! How could you do that?
Investigative work, Rand.
I don't know. Sometimes people don't really think all the way through when they talk about all this stupid stuff. When in reality, more than likely, is Ubisoft games tend to come in hot. They tend to come in with a lot of bugs. Their patches try to fix things, but then things get screwed around, and sometimes it takes multiple patches before the game is finished or in the absolute final state. So I always find this stuff absolutely ridiculous.
Hey, Luca said that it was the conspiracy theories that really did her in on Twitter. She was dying.
I want to ask real quick though.
I want to ask D-Batch. D-Batch, what's the history of Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey on PC?
Origins is Odyssey is one of the most demanding games I've ever played on. I tried it on PC.
It's demanding on PC. It's janky on PC. You're gonna have a lot of bugs on PC. I think the bugs are on par on all the consoles. I just want to say one thing though. I found it a little puzzling. I know we kind of alluded to it that some tweets were deleted, but certain tweets were saying, don't use this version because this version is worse. And then we find out, from the same source that actually the version is not worse. It's just the Xbox is performing better now.
Wow.
So I don't know. Honestly, all you guys, that's why I've been really quiet the last few weeks. I've just been enjoying my consoles, been sitting back, relaxing, and this little victory lap or this premature victory lap. I like both consoles. My beef is with these extreme fanboys. I just want to be clear on that. I have nothing against PlayStation. I enjoy my PlayStation 5. It's just these idiotic fanboys, and the power difference, it's going to show in the games, and it's going to show a lot sooner than later. And you're going to have a lot of egg on the face. That's all I got to say.
Well, you know why we're getting these stupid conspiracies is because these people play Twitter more than they play games.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've blocked, muted a bunch of idiots that they don't really care about gaming. They care about like just being toxic and attacking everything. It's like, just play a damn game. Like each and every one of us in this podcast, and I guarantee you 95% of the people in the chat right now, they're playing their new consoles. If you have one, everybody's playing them. I started Valhalla after beating Miles Morales, and it runs nice. I like the way it looks. Do I understand, like, from a software development side, that these GDKs and these development kits and all that are going to take time for them to really get stuff out? Yeah. I mean, people that are reviewing Immortals Phoenix Rising have said that, like, they like it because it's one of the best optimized that they've played from Ubisoft. That it runs really nice in the performance mode, that it's really like that they didn't realize how much that really helped their like understanding of how much they enjoyed the game, because that's what happened with Valhalla. There were bugs. There was bugs in every game that's come out. Like, that's just what's happening.
I mean, we've covered the tools and stuff, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to turn
this year with like, I'm just saying, especially in 2020 with all the crap going on around the world, man. Like, for developers to really try to like release something at launch, like, it's just. I commend them. Like, I feel bad that they have to do so much work during this year, and it's, you know what? Like, I'm not going to give them shit. I'm not going to attack people, and just enjoy your damn consoles and play some games.
So Zalker, play your damn games, you frauds. So Zalker, Devolta says that John Linneman on Twitter, and I didn't see this because again I've been crazy busy and stuff over the last week, but John Linneman told people on Twitter not to download the patch. But just deleted it when they did the analysis, and it wasn't actually worse in any way. I could have sworn people were saying it dropped down to 40 frames after the patch. Like, did that not happen?
There's a lot of people that were saying, like, wasn't there like, oh, uninstall and it'll do this? Like, I remember me and Colt were talking, and he was like,
I did it. Yeah,
you like uninstalled, and then it didn't do any, like what the fuck?
I think John got in a little trouble or something because he put his Twitter on protected after all this stuff.
Yeah, he also told people, like, why are you even I don't want to paraphrase him, but he said something about this game isn't that great. I uninstalled it and I'm playing something else or something like that. I don't want to I paraphrased him anyway, but he said something like that.
Like, he wasn't enjoying Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah, like, it wasn't like
he
it wasn't
doesn't
that great
like
of a
the
game.
game.
He was going to move on and play something else, and he was telling people, why are you playing this game or something like that in a nicer way, but that doesn't really come off as all that great. Like, just let people enjoy it.
Well, then who gives a fuck what you have to say? I don't care who you are. Like, if you don't like the game, then you could put your shit out there and say you don't like the game. That's all good, but don't tell people what to do with their shit then.
Yeah, but Tom and Alex and John are looking at these games objectively. They're looking at them like performance and resolution and screen tearing. Like, that's an objective opinion. They can say this doesn't run great on the Xbox, and then the next week it gets patched and like, this runs better on the Xbox versus the PS5. That's all objective, and everyone's allowed to have their opinion, but it's kind of gotten to the point where people are so ravaging, like, just crazy against other people, that you're not allowed an opinion anymore on the social space when it comes to gaming. If I was to say that I wasn't enjoying a game, I would have several people tell me why I was wrong for not liking something.
Yeah, Luca said, he asked if anyone was actually playing the game. Yeah, no shit, people were playing the game. Like, stupid. I don't know, man. Like, whatever. Like, I get it. Like, you do good work in Digital Foundry. I watch a lot of their videos while I'm working at work or when I'm just getting up in the morning. Yeah. I listen to it like a podcast. I'll just listen to it and hear what they have to say because they give a lot of great information. But outside of that, like, I really don't care what anybody thinks about any game. If I did, I wouldn't have put 500-600 hours in Sea of Thieves because I fucking love that game. Yeah. If I just paid attention to anybody else, like, everybody's gonna play what they want to play. I don't care what they're saying. Just
one of your favorite games is Sea of Thieves, and that's that got hammered. So.
Like,
go ahead, Tim, and then I want to get to something.
No, just what was funny about the whole situation too was it wasn't even John's analysis. He was just kind of like, one thing people have said about John, and I like John, he's a good guy, but he engages with these trolls, and these people that are telling him that he's on the money or they're the line, and he just gets involved way too much. So I think the best option for him is just to kind of like chill back.
I don't even feel sorry for him because he has talked about
let's stop talking about an individual and let's go ahead and move forward to another individual. Elysium, shout out to Elysium, by the way. He says let's play a drinking game every time GDK and tools are mentioned. Yes, you should. Don't do that, you'll die. I'm basically I mean, we've covered that stuff. We covered it. We told you guys a lot of this stuff would happen before there was even one comparison, and I just didn't expect it to this degree. And hopefully that stuff is remedied. That's all we can say. We're not saying wait, or as I said earlier. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. But long story short, I mean, Zalker, they're basically telling us that we saw those tweets and we saw those likes on posts about PS5 being downgraded, and that's why it's in quotes on the title of the podcast. Not that we're saying it's downgraded, because we don't think it is downgraded.
No.
But apparently there was no downgrade, and I guess it was placebo effect. I don't know. Take the green
Just
pill.
like 60 frames per second placebo.
60 frames is placebo.
effect.
Yeah, so, I mean, but...
Yeah, it's not downgraded, people. Just enjoy it. You know, there's going to be more patches coming out that are going to change things. It's going to be very fluid. Every game coming out in the next 8 to 9 to 10 months is going to be fluid.
Yeah.
But,
But
there's some obvious issues here, and I think these guys they're pretty much pointing it out, saying like they don't understand why this is happening as the Xbox Series X is more powerful. An example today, I saw they did another analysis on Borderlands. 3, and they were saying that the shadows were better on the PlayStation 5 as well as like the foliage, right? The foliage. So like that makes no sense. And when you look at it,
but the reason is because it's basically just the
Report.
PS4 Pro version.
Yeah.
It was better on the Pro, so it's better on the PS5.
which is stupid, because that shows you right there that these developers, they're not really going the extra mile to ensuring that these consoles are running the best version of their game. And that's really evident with the Borderlands 3, with the shadows and with the foliage.
Well, first of all, Borderlands 3 launched on the consoles like a piece of shit.
Hey,
So,
I mean,
I don't
Borderlands,
know.
I will say this, and I don't want to stay here because we're dragging the shit down. Borderlands 3, it's a great patch. I don't care what anyone says. Me and Colt played the fuck out of that. They even ramped up the physics on it. Like, when you run guys over, it's crazy now. Like, I think that's one of the more impressive ones.
Yeah,
I
they
don't care what
showed
issues they
the
have.
drops on PS5, Series S, and X. And they showed the drop. It's like a short spike in the middle of the explosion. And he said, like, if you look at the screen graph, it doesn't look good. But when you're looking at the game, it looks like a solid, you've got a solid high resolution, high frame rate. You've got the 120 hertz mode that'll drop like 10 to 15 to 20 frames.
Yeah.
And he said it's not nowhere near as jarring as a 60 drop down to 40 or a 30 drop down to 20. And I don't know. I think
they gave the nod to the Xbox Series X version, though.
Well,
yeah, in a lot of ways, but I feel
With
like
no bushes.
I feel like we got these new consoles and we're getting something that we've been asking for 12 years. We're getting performance and we're getting high fidelity graphics and all these other things that are about to come, and everyone's just complaining. They're super upset. And I almost wonder, like, if I didn't have Twitter and I didn't look at Digital Foundry, would I not be able to? Would I still enjoy Valhalla?
I mean, do you enjoy Valhalla?
Probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a rhetorical question, but
Okay.
I mean,
Thanks,
this
Cole.
is what, and to be fair, I've been banging this drum for like 8 or 9 months that Xbox Series X would outperform PS5 in nearly every game, barring the few developers that don't do the proper job or don't go the extra mile, or just don't do the whole port process correctly. And now I'm sitting in this situation where we're looking at the first 5 or 6 really big games that don't, and yeah, it's not fun.
No, yeah, it always sucks, but then again, we didn't expect
It won't last forever.
Didn't factor
It
the
won't.
whole all this bullshit we've been talking about. So it'll happen or it won't. The only thing that can happen, is time. So I'm not saying you should wait or telling you to wait. I'm just telling you what the fuck you're gonna have to do. So again, Cole,
Moving on.
I do want one last thing from you regarding Valhalla, real quick, because there are some people asking in the chat. 60 FPS mode Series S, you've tried it. Real quick, your thoughts on that?
Me?
Valhalla Series S. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I did talk about that already. But yeah, I mean, I'll
what
bookend
your
it.
experience playing Series S at 60?
It's really good. Like I told you, it's like I can't believe a $300 console is doing this. That's kind of why I asked D, like, what historically this engine setup for Assassin's Creed with Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origins, which are very similar. Like historically, they've had a hard time getting 60. I remember Digital Foundry when they were showing Origins, they're running an $1,800 PC, and they're like, we can't get it up to 60 because it'll drop, so we're just going to show it at high fidelity at 30. They kind of gave it the console effect, and then that's where they did that analysis. If you remember 3 years ago, Assassin's Creed Origins ran at a native 4K 30 locked on PC, and $1,800 PC, i9 and a 1080 Ti. Remember that, dealer?
Yeah.
And then Odyssey is kind of the same way. It's the same engine. They had the same problems. There's benchmarks where you can get smaller graphics cards running at 60. You have to make concessions. So this is kind of how this does. But you look at a $300 Xbox Series S, which is running the game at close to HD. It's using reprojection, and it's running at 60 frames. I don't think there's any screen tearing that I saw, really. And so it's like really a cool situation. And if you're a Series S owner, you're not counting pixels. You're not worried about.
I think it does run at like somewhere around 720, and the reason I'm not harping on that is because this is day one software during a pandemic.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, there's a reason that a lot of these games we had now on the Xbox One X and the Pro and all that stuff wasn't possible in 2013. You know, those games would never run on the box at the beginning. The softwares that carry the hardware forward. So we won't harp on that. And just for those talking about Borderlands 3, the X version was just the Xbox One version with an 1800p mode added. So you had two modes. They didn't add any extra settings. They didn't use the extra RAM. They didn't do anything on the One X. So, but you know, from playing it, I like what I'm playing. It's not just the Pro version. I know that because the physics are ramped way up. So again, let me go ahead and move forward. 60 FPS on Series S and Valhalla. Really, really cool. And I approve of this, Ubisoft. Do more. Also, I do want to... I guess we got to go to this article real quick. This is going to be a fun one.
I just read the whole fucking thing too.
I was hoping Tassie wrote it, so I was like, okay, it's not right. Honestly, why the Xbox Series X is 2020's biggest disappointment. It's an article from Forbes, and I did want to come to Colt. And Colt, we're having a great time. Let's get some good moods and positivities in here while we talk about why Xbox Series X sucks. And so, no, it's an awesome console. That's my opinion. But Forbes, they're saying it's disappointing. Can you kind of cover this in the best of ways?
In the most positive way?
Yeah.
The most disappointing because it doesn't have any big launch exclusives other than
And that's what they're saying?
And it has some performance issues.
Mm-hmm.
But the Series X is it's one of the greatest designed consoles ever. But it's not. It's hard to see that right now.
So that's kind of what they're saying is the launch games, which both of us mentioned in our reviews of Series X on day one, and then the performance issues, which we had nothing to compare it to at the time. So is that what they're saying? This makes it the most disappointing thing in 2020 besides just Rona?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're talking about the last 2 months of 2020. PS5 has come out and had a great start with Miles Morales and Astrobot, which people love, and Demon's Souls is doing absolutely fantastic. People are really excited about that. Xbox's first party offerings don't come in till the beginning of next year. So it's kind of a thing that we've seen in a lot of... Was this the same article where he said... Randall, remember this? I think it's the same article where he said that every console he's ever bought had compelling launch titles, like the Sega Genesis, or the Sega had Sonic the Hedgehog, and one of my followers pointed out that Sonic the Hedgehog came out like 2 years after the console. It didn't launch with something big like that. So, I mean, they don't always launch the big games, but PlayStation sure set things up right, and Xbox is in that position where they decided in 2017 or 2018 they were going to start kicking butt on first party for the first time in 2 or 3 years of a huge lull and a funding problem, and it's just not ready. The games just aren't ready yet because they take 3 to 5 years to make. And it just... I mean, Phil talked about that like 6 months ago. He's like, we thought about should we wait to do the console, but just put the console out. The games are there. Third party is a big part of both consoles.
Okay. Well,
it's strange.
What's strange, D? Are we talking? We're still talking about the Forbes article, right?
Yeah, like it's disappointing. Yes, I can't lie. It's disappointing that there's no first party titles on there. But to say that's the most disappointing tech or thing of 2020 is definitely a stretch. Personally, I think the most disappointing thing of 2020 is not being able to basically get the hardware or the tech that you want, like on PC. Yep. You can't get anything that you want. Everything is like sold out. I think that's more disappointing. The Xbox
I think Craig is the most disappointing thing in 2020.
Yeah, the Xbox Series X doesn't have a first-party title that we're used to a console launching with. And yes, this is disappointing, but there's a ton of games to play in Game Pass. They just announced today that they're adding more games in there. We got EA EA Play being added to Game Pass, so we got access to all of those games. So there's plenty to play on there. There's great third-party games to choose from. So is it disappointing? Yes. The most disappointing thing, like, holy shit, can we like just stop with these headlines already? Like, come on.
Well, he like the headline is just so dumb, because then he also talks about people being disappointed in the PS5, but he just had a single out Xbox, and I'm just sitting here like enjoying both of these consoles. I understand, like, just sitting here like
You're really liking Miles Morales.
Yeah, I love Miles Morales. Is probably one of the best launch titles I've ever played. Like, I love that game. I enjoyed it. I played the whole thing. Rand's played the whole thing. I think Rand platinumed it, but it's like we're gonna sit here and be like, oh, we're disappointed. And then in the article, because I just read the stupid thing, he also says that like Psychonauts 2 and Stalker 2 are simply being released early on the Series X, the stupidest marketing ploy in gaming, whoever's doing it. Yeah, he literally says that. And
Psychonauts is late. Like, that game should have been out.
Well, he's saying that it's being released only early on the Series X, so it's not exclusive. It's going to come to other platforms later, and it's the stupidest marketing ploy. And then doesn't bring up.
How is it a marketing ploy?
It doesn't bring up Ghostwire or Deathloop.
Yeah, Psychonauts doesn't even belong to Xbox.
Well, it's not even that.
Hang on. This is getting muddy. So you're saying that he's complaining that Psychonauts was already in development and had obligations to PlayStation before they purchased them, and it's going to PlayStation?
No, he's just saying that it's early, that he's saying that the early exclusivity buy of like Stalker 2 and then Psychonauts coming early as an exclusive to one console is the dumbest thing.
So
and
Bill Cosby 2, timed exclusives are now they're complaining about it? What about Godfall?
Well, I'm just saying Godfall, Deathloop, Ghostwire. He doesn't bring any of those up, but then he just, in the next, like, literally paragraph, he brings up Horizon Forbidden West and God of War 2 as these big exclusive bangers coming out. And it's like, what the hell are you like complaining about? Like, just play the console you want to play. Like, it's not a disappointment at all. I don't think any console is a disappointment. I think like Tim said, or Tim, what the hell? Like D said, not getting the hardware is the biggest disappointment. I got lucky to even get a PS5 because, you know, somebody sent it to me, you know, and it was really awesome. But
you fit that bitch through the door too.
Well, it's just everybody else, just like, that's the biggest disappointment, is that you're not enjoying your console. It's like, fuck.
No, I've been yelled at by, I mean, I got insulted by someone the other day that told me that the PS5 is so much better. Turns out he can't even get a hold of one. And I've got one sitting in my game room right here. And so people are, and he admitted, he's like, yeah, I haven't been able to get a console. You know, I'm still stuck on the current stuff. And I mean, it's the reality. I have to double down with Zocker and applaud D-Batch's comment. Like, the real disappointment tech of this year is you can't freaking get a 3000 series RTX card. You cannot even, half of these people
you can't get the shit you want.
You can't get a console. And the people, and like I said, like 10 minutes ago, the people that do have a console are whining and complaining and are not enjoying the experience right now.
You know, this type of like behavior is, Phil had like a massive interview, right? Phil Spencer did. And he said, making games or doing this isn't what's going to like get me away from making games. It's the toxic tribalism that's going on. And this is the type of like shit that feeds into that. Like, just saying stupid headlines like that. It's like, come on. Even if he said PlayStation 5 is the biggest disappointment, you think we'd be sitting here cheering that? No, we'd be like, what the hell's his problem? Like, that's the whole point, is that like, just enjoy your consoles, man. Like, this is supposed to be negative. This is like an awesome time. We've been talking about these consoles for, you know, last year and a half, if not longer, and they're finally here and we're getting to play them, and they're just freaking awesome. Like, playing everything at 60 is insane. Miles Morales looks insane on 60. Like, so does Assassin's Creed on the Series X. So does Call of Duty. Me playing COD on the new Series X is insane.
When it's not crashed.
It's so much fun.
Well, all right, Rand, tell us one thing, Rand. Because Microsoft promised big things. They promised the most powerful console.
I mean, we got other topics, people. Come on. I mean, is this, Randall, can you answer this question in, 45 seconds or less?
45 seconds or less. I mean, the one thing I will point out where he does make a point is the stuff about quick resume, which Microsoft touted very heavily, and then was kind of turned it off even when we had the consoles early. So, like, I know it doesn't work in Valhalla, and I know it doesn't work in a few other games, and I think that's a disappointment, because that was like one of the, because you look at the Series X and it's like, it's got the same user interface and the dashboard, right? It's basically got the same controller, even though there is some improvements in it. So for all intents and purposes, a lot, it's like what he mentions, like it's just like an improved Xbox One X. It just is like this big hunking thing because everything is the same. It's the same ecosystem. And the one thing that Microsoft really went out of their way to talk about was quick resume, and it doesn't really work in a lot of games. I do think you can criticize about that, because that was something they went out of their way to tell us all about, and then to only be like, oh, by the way, we're going to disable it for a while, and who knows when we'll re-enable it. I think that is a little bit disappointing, at least. But I wouldn't call the Series X like
thing.
Like, obviously, I mean, look. It's a clickbait headline because he wants people to click on it, right? And it's going to get views, and we're going to sit here and talk about it on the podcast. So you're doing exactly what he wants you to do. I mean, it says right here on the page, it's only got 24,000 views on here.
If you're mad about it, like, I'd say it's a little bit, but it's definitely something that people are talking about it. I've gotten a lot of messages about this shit.
But you're basically doing exactly.
He's doing what I want. Make me some more articles, bitch.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, the Xbox Series X is the most disappointing thing of 2020, and like Colt said earlier, you're entitled to your own opinion about whatever, and but like I don't necessarily agree with everything he's talking about here, but like the quick resume thing is the one thing I'll point out, because like that's something Microsoft.
Yeah. That's something they touted and marketed, and it's not quite optimized. And let me read some shit here real quick. I got to get at least a few of these people that have been gracious enough to support the show. Zocker,
do it. They're awesome.
We got a topic for you as well. So if you haven't read up on that, please do.
So Colt, now people are saying Ask Creed's quick resume works.
Ask Creed. Yeah. Which game? Where are you getting that game?
Yeah, where's that at?
Well, no, me and Colt were talking last night.
Yeah.
And Colt was like, I just wish it worked in Ask Creed. So I was assuming.
Goddamn Ask
I didn't know
Creed.
it was fixed in that.
Hey, Forza Horizon 4 didn't used to work. It works now on Forza Horizon 4 as well. But let me get to some of these things. Spider-Man 35/6, and of course, Rubbin Nubbin. Thank you guys for coming, channel members. Shout out to you again. Shout out to J Dove. I had to see that number 5 and 0 before that gets read. And then we've also got the Downer. He says, what do you he says, what do you mean, Jay? The PlayStation Tools is here. That's so funny. So he actually went at Jay in a super chat. We've also got Hectic World. He says, don't worry, that's a feature, not a problem. He's talking to D, not sure what he's talking about there. Twisted Mental says, I got the digital and hated. Oh, he's talking about the PS5. Eric says 1188p downgrade Valhalla Series X. Yeah, I suppose so. RDX Master Chief, he says, if PS4 emulation coming to Xbox Series X and S and with cross-gen being a thing for the next few years, will that... Well, we're going to get to that topic, sir. Thank you so much. We don't have too many of these. John Linneman, by the way, that's from Yodani. He says John Linneman said he restarted on PS5. He restarted his PS5 and fixed it. Oh, that's what it was. So he played the game after it got patched from PS5 Valhalla and didn't restart his console, and that something didn't take effect, I don't think. Penny, by the way, says, loving the show, guys. Dealer, now that you've had the DualSense, well, my thoughts on the DualSense. I played Astro's Playroom for about 8 minutes, and I shut the PlayStation off and left the room. And
How dare you.
And honestly, I just wasn't really... I was waiting for stuff to download, right? So it's a joke. Point is, I think it's cool in what it does, but I feel like a lot of people that haven't messed around with the Xbox One controller and its rumble triggers are, I guess they're not really playing I guess they're coming off of the PS4 and going to the PS5. Because to me, everything's really exactly the same except for the triggers pushing back, which I'm not sure if I do like that. And there's another layer of smaller vibrations, it feels like, as well on top of that. And it's just not big enough for me to even think about it. And I don't know if I like this pushing my controller, fighting me, like punching it and got it in a headlock, like, stop fighting me, controller, I'm swinging around, bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if I like that. There's a lot of people that turn it off, like Luca turned it off. A lot of other people turn it off.
I don't care for the resistance triggers, but I do like the haptic feedback on the grips.
That's that extra layer I'm talking about.
I'm with you guys.
That is really cool. Like when you can feel the individual raindrops in Astros when it's raining like on the grips of the controller.
Mhm.
That stuff's cool, but I don't really care for resistance. I don't even really care for like the rumble triggers on the Xbox controller either.
What?
I just
That's
don't. I just
because you don't play the bitch.
Because he doesn't play racers.
play more than you, fool.
Yeah, right. Come on, Randall. We both know you're out there trying to train to become the best dancer you can be. I saw you.
I
I'm
gotta
training
say
to
when
be the best Demon Souls player.
Hey, let me train to be the best super chat reader. Tony Bryant, he says, people complaining about the 120 FPS mode and mocking TCLS and Panasonic's. You can't even see what you're complaining about. He says, shout out to King David. Twisted Mental again. He says, quick resume is back in Valhalla. Thank you so much, sir. That's thanks to the guys that have super chatted and all that good stuff. I want to get back to this stuff. I just wanted to get that stuff caught up. Again, the Forbes article, I couldn't say that I agree with it because while performance is not where it will be and what I expected on day one, when we understand that stuff more and we come to talk to more and more credible people and we, that kind of stuff, we're like, okay, I'm not really concerned about that at all. What have I enjoyed from the system? And I would have to agree with Randall. The most disappointing thing about the system is quick resume is so effective at changing the way that you receive your games and the speed of it and the convenience of it that when it's not there, it's noticeable.
it's angering.
Hold on. I mean, you might want to. You might want to go on a vacation, Colt. To
Taylor,
Rhode
I don't
Island.
know.
That's what Ram was like. We were talking, and he was playing Dirt. I'm like, oh man, I want to go play Dirt because he got me back in the mood to play it. So we were playing while we were talking, and then when I was done, I went back to Valhalla. I'm like, gosh, I wish quick resume worked. I don't want to sit. I'm already a month into this, and I'm already spoiled where I don't want to sit through the Ubisoft logo and the studio logo and all this stuff. Like I'm like, man, I wish quick resume worked on Valhalla. Because I mean that's a long load into there, even with these faster consoles.
See, I think both consoles essentially have set out and have done exactly what they claimed they would. Like, you can be disappointed about the Xbox exclusive lineup, and God knows I've beat that dead horse in a lot of my videos and podcasts. Right?
I know, right? Yeah, you've never said anything like us. You've never said anything.
Right? Like, it does what I wanted. Like, I wanted this gen to all be about frame rate and quick load times, and almost all the games that I've been playing on both the PS5 and Series X are either 60 frames or 120 frames. Like, it is such a stark difference to go from the Xbox One generation where you're stuck in molasses of the 30 frames per second and the drops and everything to essentially like you have 120 frames in Modern Warfare, you have 120 frames in Dirt 5, you have 60 frames in Demon Souls and 60 frames in Spider-Man and 60 frames like everywhere. It's exactly what I wanted, and I think what Xbox promised, because Phil talked all the time about the feel of games being different, meaning the frame rate. And then the quick resume, when it worked, it was amazing. And then all the fast loading on PlayStation. I think both these systems have done exactly what they set out to do tech and performance wise. Now,
what
will Xbox actually do things better? Well, to me, like,
80 frames in a 120 mode.
I think he's talking. I think he's talking more of like the
Come on, Randall.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was expecting 60, and I'm getting 60 now with the full RDNA 2 stuff. In a year or two, will be better. Then that's great. But like for me, all I cared about was the faster performance and the load times, and I'm getting that. And it's day one. Who knows what it's going to look like a year or 2 years from now? It's only going to get better. So, like, I think that both consoles are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And I got to read this real quick because this is one of the few times that I've seen something, and I guess I'll start doing this. So, this is an example of a comment in a live chat that is so dumb that I have to block this guy. Okay? So, Shogun, by the way, Shogun Blade Z. He says, oh, so rumble triggers are cool now, huh? Xbox is cool now, dealer. He says, he's basically saying I'm capping for the rumble triggers from the Xbox, but I hate the DualSense's rumble triggers. I never said that. And again, just because I don't say something doesn't mean that I did say the opposite, right? That's what people on Twitter do. So again, I'm saying that the resistance in the triggers, I don't know if I care for. That's what I said. I didn't comment on the rumble triggers, right? So again, Shogun, just stop making shit up, and you can do it. You got plenty of time now in purgatory. Also, Penny in the super chat says, he says a dealer face reveal in Fight Night. No, not quite. I didn't even make that character. But there will be a face reveal at, I don't know, 175,000 subs. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward. let's go back to the topics. So the article overall, D-Batch. I mean, I'm impressed with it. A lot of people are impressed with these boxes. Frame rate, load times are all there. It's great. What are your thoughts on the article itself?
I just don't think he's being. I just think he's trying to get a headline here. He's just trying to get views. I don't think he's being objective. I think the console's fantastic. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I can go away from my PC and play on the Series X and enjoy 60 frames per second. And all the console guys that have never played 60 frames per second before, I know you guys can never go back to playing 30 frames per second now. You truly feel the difference. And it was really hard describing 60 frames per second before when a lot of people never experienced it. Now that you got a taste of it, you can't go back. And even some games are giving us 120 frames per second. So the only thing that I'm disappointed on the launch is that I don't have a Halo. I don't have a true first-party title, but I have a lot of games, third-party games and games in Game Pass and first-party title games that came out on the on the Xbox One X and the vanilla consoles that I didn't really enjoy too much because they were 30 frames per second. I can now enjoy them at 60 frames per second. Gears 5 on the Series X is fucking bananas. Why are these outlets all talking about the lack of first-party games, which is valid, but why are you not also talking about Gears 5 on the Xbox Series X and how fantastic that game looks and how it's maintaining a high resolution and high frame rates, and that it has a 120 FPS mode? Why are we not talking about that? Why are we not talking about?
They did like a month and a half ago.
He's saying why not compare the positives and what it's doing that's great?
Why is there no emphasis on that? Why are we not talking about Forza Horizon 60 FPS on the Series X? Like, there's a lot of games that we can revisit from last generation that look fantastic. Why are we not talking about the backwards compatibility, how smoothly it runs on the Series X, and how you don't need to have it installed to your.
Didn't Forbes say that they, like in their thing, they said they were way less impressed with the PS5 than the Series X? So who was that? Tim, who was that?
I think it might have been David, but I'm not sure. But it's different writer. So.
Oh man, Forbes. You need bipolar Forbes. What's going on?
I'm just tired that it's cool to hate on Xbox. And you know what? When it's their time to be reamed out, I'm all there for it. But right now, they've launched a fantastic system. It actually is the most powerful console that's ever been released. The price point for what we're getting on these systems is fantastic. Yes, talk about the negative, but talk about the positive as well. Stop this, it's just cool to hate on Xbox. It's just enough already.
Well, and I gotta say, like, the biggest, like, for it to be like the disappointment thing is just what's dumb. For me, the biggest disappointment is I'm not playing Halo Infinite this year. I was really looking forward to it. I really wanted to play it. I always play those on Legendary with friends. I love playing the campaign and then jumping into multiplayer. Like, it's like an event when Halo comes out. Yeah. So when that got like taken out, like basically postponed, which it needed it. I'm not saying I'm mad about the delay. It really needed the delay. It's just disappointing that I didn't get to play it. That's the only thing I have disappointment wise. Like, that's the biggest disappointment for me, where I'm like really irritated. Everything else is like I already knew. Like, I knew that there's going to be performance issues. I knew that they're going to need some time with the system to wrap their brains around it and get through the new tools and all that. But everything else is just like, I'm just enjoying them so much. Like, even Gears Tactics. Like, if people haven't played that, if you like turn-based strategy games, like, that's a freaking amazing game. Everybody needs to check that out. If you're sitting there going, there's no games, play it. It's freaking awesome.
Which one of y'all kicked me?
Well, there were supposed to be like 5 or 6 first-party timed exclusives on the Xbox in that first 2 months before we turned over to 2021.
Yeah,
They've all been delayed.
The Medium got pushed back.
Half of PlayStation's games have been delayed, and Tim and I were talking to somebody the other day that half of the games either don't have, or it seems like most of the games either don't have a definitive date or they've been delayed. And what a crappy situation. One of the things that PlayStation had going for them is Miles Morales was something they built off of Spider-Man 2018. They had it ready. Maybe they held it to make it a launch exclusive. Super smart. The other one, Demon Souls, I've always asked Rand about this. Is there any like hint that maybe this game might have been on PS4 before it came to PS5 and they waited, or did it just happen to line up just right? Like that's another really great thing. A game like Demon's Souls that looks big, they had that ready to go.
Yeah.
So
that or they held it.
I don't know.
I mean, they did say it was coming to other consoles at a later date, and there's nothing in the game design that goes beyond what a PS3 could do in the game design department, right?
Well, let's just be honest. They brought out those 2 games, which I find, I haven't played Demon's Souls yet, but I have it and I'm going to play it. But they did bring out Miles Morales, which to me is one of the best console launches I've played. And on top of that, they had Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima in the summer. So Sony did a really good job of grabbing the people and giving them what they wanted, which was games, and they gave a reason for people to go to the PS5. I had a reason to go there because 1, I like making content, 2, I love gaming, and 3, it's just, you get to freaking play all these cool little exclusives that they got going on. Xbox was banking on Halo, you can tell, and that's why that's the biggest disappointment is like all the marketing pointed toward Halo Infinite. Like it's already there. Like Halo is the biggest thing. And so that really did set them back. I think if they had Halo at launch, it would have been great. Like it would have been awesome to have that. Like I probably still would be playing it like a bunch on the multiplayer, but it's just not there. And that things happen. It's all good. Just enjoy the games we do have. I'm struggling finding time to play everything. Like I have Assassin's Creed now, and then Phoenix is a day away, and I can't wait to play that. And then it's Cyberpunk. It's like, damn. And then Watch Dogs Legion. I'm not even done with that, and I'm enjoying that.
There's so many games to play. Oh my God! Lucas says Demon's Souls Slain. No. The game design, the levels, the combat, all the mechanics, like it was built for PS3, and at some point that might come to PS4. I guess we'll see. Apparently it's amazing. She beat it. She beat it. So and quick. Speaking of beat it, Randall, when you beat Miles Morales. You said you beat that game as short as 3 hours on the second time?
On my second playthrough of Miles Morales, skipping cutscenes, I beat it
in
4 hours.
Oh my God. That's pretty incredible.
But the first playthrough of Miles, I beat, doing everything was like 14 hours.
Every single thing. You got a platinum.
Yeah. I'm with Zucker. I really, really enjoyed Miles Morales, but so I can't complain, man. There's tons of games to play on both systems. I think both systems are great. They give me exactly what I wanted, and I'm good. Halo Infinite, biggest disappointment for sure. But I mean, if it had come out and they didn't delay it, I'm sure it would have been like, what the F, Microsoft? Like, you should have delayed this game.
That's why we all asked for it. We saw Craig's face with no textures, man.
Yeah, but it's still weird, man. I still go back and think about it. Like, they promoted the hell out of that game. They all thought it was going to be there, and then 2 weeks after they show off Craig, it's delayed. Like something happened. Like,
Craig the Game Ender.
Either there was no control, or people didn't know how rough of a state it was, and were surprised when they saw it, and they just were like, well, maybe nobody will notice, and we'll just get this game out, or there's this something happened, and I want to know the story behind. What changed from the 1 week lead up to July Games Showcase where you were teasing it every single day, and it was all the marketing for the console, and then 2 weeks later they're like, yeah, it's delayed, and we don't even know when it's coming out in 2021 because and then even their updates from the community managers, we know it's been a rough road, and I sit there and I laugh, and I'm like, the game was supposed to be out 20 days ago. What are you are we talking the game? What happened to that game?
I know what happened. They tried to get away with the state it was in. They tried to somebody at Microsoft or Xbox thought, I don't know if this is ready to show it, and somebody at Microsoft or 343 said, we're going to show it. Trust us, it's going to be great, and so when it got its reception, they did the right thing. They stopped and said, we're going to delay this game, and we're listening to the fans. So I think that's the right thing to do. You don't see that on a lot of other platforms. This is a big game, and I don't know. It's like they always end up delaying games. You're like, why? It looks so great. Why are they delaying it? What's going on? You have to dig into what the problem is. Everything I saw looked great. Put it out right now. I'll play that sucker. But there's something behind the scenes that's not right. I'm glad they're going to make it right.
What was that game that was announced and then they delayed it completely on Nintendo Switch?
Oh, Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime. There you go. Things happen. They switched developers and then freaking just completely were like, you know what, people, we announced this, but it's probably 4 years away now.
Yeah, but but they showed that game off at a JPEG. It was just Metroid Prime 4.
This game looks fire.
Like with Halo was like 2018. You're going to see the engine trailer and it looks amazing. When they showed off originally, was it 2018 or 2017? The first time. It's 2018, and then 2019 you get another trailer, and then this year you get another trailer with the gameplay. So like we've seen it 3 times, and even though Phil was hinting that maybe the game would get delayed, he was talking about like how software and the COVID and stuff like that. It just seemed like they were very much confident the game would come out up to the July Game Showcase, and then after they showed it, they're like, "Yeah, you know what? We can't release this year." I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that game.
Hey, let me get Z Black Rider, and we'll come back to you, Tim. Z Black Rider says consoles finally released with actual next gen hardware, and people are angry. Might explain PC Master Race. Go ahead, Tim.
That's a good point. Just to the state of Halo. They just hired James Gard, who's a lighting artist that works at Naughty Dog and Insomniac. So it just goes to show you that when they're hiring people like that, this game's probably a year to maybe even more, in my opinion.
Tim, what do you think? If you had to guess, do you think they split multiplayer and campaign? I mean, Phil's talked about that. You know, that basically, from what I heard, like the campaign and the multiplayer teams are kind of separate. It's basically they're building 2 different games, and one of them might be closer to release than the other. And let's just imagine, for the sake of argument, because Jez has been saying this, if multiplayer is finished and ready, and it's got all of its DLC plans ready to go, but campaign's not done, and campaign won't be done for another 6 months, do you release the multiplayer by itself and just release the campaign later?
I think this is a conversation they're probably having right now, and our opinions are probably similar to what they're saying. In my opinion, I don't want any part of that. I just think Halo should be a full package deal. But what you're saying is very true, where you could just start to recoup, and everything's really done on the multiplayer side. I just think that you lose in a certain effect for Halo and the franchise when you do that. I think most people won't be as excited when they get the day one campaign. I think honestly they should prioritize the campaign and do what they got to do to make it great, because you can't have another Crackdown 3 on your hands. It'd be real bad if it's that.
I mean, they brought in Joseph Staten, one of the original kind of Halo dudes from Bungie, and they brought him in after the July Game Showcase, and he's like, story like. And it's like, well, what is he going to do if the game is supposed to be coming out in 6 months? And then it was like, oh, it was delayed. And like, oh, okay. So, like, how much work does this game need? Like,
he saw it. I'm getting the fuck out. Does a backflip out the window? No, honestly, like, look, I'm not here to rag on Halo more. We've done that so much in the past, made jokes about, Domino's talking shit. It's a problem. Textures, no one's got textures on their forehead. The game looks like Roblox in some screenshots. We exaggerate and have fun with it. Some guys take this stuff personally, and they live and die on this sword made of Legos. That's not me. Halo got delayed. That's the right thing. And we asked for that from the second we saw it. Again, last show, we talked about how some of these APIs and software isn't ready. Halo Infinite wasn't going to launch with ray tracing. That was a problem. We called this months and months ago. So again, Deathstick says the right thing to do would have just, hey, don't brag about the Slipspace engine being like, a technical epitome of just awesomeness in an open world console game, and then, don't release it in the first place when it's not done. And I think that's what they did. But yeah, I don't think it should have ever been in question. Give it the time they need, and unfortunately they didn't see that in time. But again, we got to shout out to 2,300 people watching live, guys. Thank you so much. You're part of the show. You're making one of the biggest one of the biggest Xbox podcasts in history. Hit the like button if you haven't. We do appreciate it. Thanks to everybody rocking out with us, even the Sony guys. Like, look, if you actually watch, it's different than what you've probably, maybe, 1% of the turds on Twitter might tell you. So again, thank you for rocking out with us. Share it, retweet it. We do appreciate it. We've got other topics, believe it or not. But, there's a lot of passion from Randall there on that subject. So much. I've got tears coming down my face. Long story short, Forbes' article, that's that guy's opinion.
Dude, was this whole section, it seems like we talked 30
that's because that's why I kept trying to wrangle it back in on some of that and other topics. I can wrangle everything. Hey, we got also a new Forza game incoming, according to Jeff Grubb, who we were supposed to have on the show. I forgot to reach out. Shout out to Jeff Grubb. He says that he thinks there's going to be another Horizon before we get the next motorsport game. We'll make this one light because we have some better topics. But I've got to say, they've already announced Forza Motorsport, whatever the fuck it's called, right? It was just called Forza Motorsport. I don't know when that's coming out. Phil did say it was in early development somehow, even though we know they've been working on it since 2017. I did a video.
2019, buddy.
Hey, Phil. I mean, Randall, sorry, you look just like Phil. I'm sorry.
I'm letting you know,
Randall. No, I know someone that was working on it way back when
So do
in
I,
pre-production, sir. Okay. So I didn't say they were coding or doing any of that shit. But when you start pre-production, you start working on it. And when it comes down to it, well, I announced Forza Motorsport, the simulation-esque racer game. When you're going to release a Horizon game before it that you haven't announced, it's kind of odd. It's been 4 years next year since we had a motorsport. I'm ready.
They haven't announced Forza Horizon, but somebody's digging something out.
I don't know. I think this makes perfect sense. Like the Playground's always been on a 2-year cycle for Forza Horizon, and
I think
it is
they need more time,
popular.
Randall.
Oh my
next
God!
next year would be 3 years.
Top Dog shows
right?
up out of the blue.
It's Top Dog. Go play Gran Turismo, sir.
Holy cow. Like he's got like a script on his PC that someone says Forza or Anime Pillow, like he just jumps online.
Hey, shout out to Top Dog and his broken leg.
Yeah.
I really do think this makes a lot of sense. Like Jeff Grubb is usually right about a lot of stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's heard some things. Now, the thing with Forza Motorsport is they're supposed to be completely like redoing the Forza Tech engine and all that stuff, which then also they share with Forza, the Playground team for Forza Horizon. So when you look at Forza Motorsport, which is a next-gen exclusive, and it kind of looks like it's coming in 2022. Now, they're not going to release Forza Horizon the same year they release Motorsport, so which would put Forza Horizon like 2023, which would be 5 years from the last game, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, what could happen is Phil has talked about how holiday 2021 is really important, right? Because the supply and demand will have kind of equalized. There'll be consoles for people, at least more important than the launch here. You maybe would have a Starfield game, other exclusives. But then what if you had a Forza Horizon 5 that came out that was also cross-gen, more than likely Xbox Series X, Xbox One, while Turn 10 is working on improving the engine for next-gen with all the ray tracing that they would then release in 2022, and then they could share the tools with the Playground team, so then they can make Forza Horizon 6 the true it would be 2 to 3 years later. And then even if you look at like the Forza Horizon 4 upgrade for Series X, like Playground didn't even do that themselves. It was Panic Button, which implies they're probably in full production of the next Forza Horizon game already. And I don't know, I think it just makes way too much sense that Forza Horizon 5 would be holiday next year, cross-gen, and then they would take all the tools that Motorsport changed and upgraded for Series X, and then Forza Horizon 6 would be like a couple years after that. I think it makes total sense to me, at least. I don't know.
I hope you're right, and it does kind of look like this might be the case. It needs to take place in Tokyo. I know obviously they have the location set already, but I hope that it's Tokyo. I think that'd be the perfect place for the next Forza Horizon. Everybody's been clamoring for Tokyo, and I think with all the neon lights and the way they can make Tokyo look, and with ray tracing, I think that'd be a great holiday title.
See, so Marquise Guzman says, Rand, does it make sense that Forza Motorsport came out in 2017 and won't make another one until 2021? Yes, because Horizon far outpaces and is more of a commercial and critical success than Motorsport has been.
So make nothing but Minecraft.
Motorsport needs to be revamped, and its engines for next generation, which leads into Horizon. Everything about Motorsport needs like a facelift. So you need to give Turn 10 more time to do so. Forza Horizon, not necessarily. So I'm happy to see that from what it looks like, they're giving Turn 10 the time they need to kind of revamp Forza Motorsport. So yes, it does make sense to me that it would take 4 years or whatever.
But if it took 4 years, if it's 2021, that means Horizon's not coming out next year.
Well, I don't. No. Well, okay. Well, fair enough. But I don't think Forza Motorsport's 2021. So
okay, so we'll see. If Jeff is saying this, then yeah, consider it.
I want Horizon before, because Horizon's so much fun.
Well, just know that Horizon's a great game. It's even better on Series X. It looks like Panic Button just took the 30 FPS mode from the X and just 4K 60, right? Looks amazing. I don't give a fuck what settings are on it, right? Ambient occlusion subtracted, which was surprising, but at the end of the day, that game is awesome. Like, it is what it is. I do think physics are dumbed down a little bit. Turn 10 do most of the work. They do all the car stuff. They do all the customization stuff. And they work together where Playground do supply the map and whatever story and place the events and all that stuff. So I don't know exactly what is up there, but I guess we will see. Maybe it'll come out in 2021. Maybe it won't. I just think it's weird to announce a game and then no, okay, we're coming out with this other one we haven't announced instead, implying that maybe it is a later stage decision, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. Let's
Maybe Turn
let's see.
10 just wanted to build that sizzle trailer for that big event and, you know, show off that they were working on the next motorsport.
I guess, but I mean, that's like showing off. I don't know. It is weird. I guess it's weird because we've seen a modern example of I guess how to do that, but it's different because it's not exactly the same type of game, I guess. But you've got Rocksteady who made the Suicide Squad game. They're working on that, and then you've got Montreal who are working on the new Manless game, supposedly. And they did announce those in like the same day, right?
Yeah.
So they got two products, one a year further than the other. But imagine if they announced two Batman games on the same day. It would be really weird, and maybe that's why they did it. I don't know. I would at least announce the one that's coming first. I
also think that the Horizon 5 is going to be in Tokyo. It's something we heard about like a year and a half ago. I think where there's smoke, there's fire on some of those things. We've seen them come true. And then I saw one of those like off the angle of a TV showing the map. And that wasn't something that somebody just scrapped together. To create that map would have taken forever, and it was basically a Forza Horizon map with no logos on it, just no like racing logos. It had just all the white roads everywhere. And I'm like, man, that looks exactly like something that Playground would make. So I'm falling for that. That's probably what's going on. I mean, I think we heard about the Vikings thing quite a while before it became reality, because these things are well in the works. And somebody said something on Facebook or Instagram and it gets leaked out.
All right.
On MySpace.
I like that.
I don't know. Yeah, on MySpace, they unfriended Tom, and then somebody just leaked
It's the first thing I did. I added Tom. He didn't add me. I was the only person he didn't add. Letha was talking about this earlier in a party. He said, yeah, maybe they'll bring it to Tokyo or Japan. And who knows? Maybe this is one of their last games they'll actually release for the current generation, because the one they did announce is not for current gen. And maybe that's their way of, just raking it in a little bit more, letting it go. And we will see. By the way, speaking of Lethal, shout out to Lethal, Boss My. We got other moderators, Obi-Wan. We had Kirby, the game developer in there. Obi-Wan, I already said that. And everyone else who is moderating the chat. Thank you so much for what you do. And to those watching, over 2,000 watching live, guys, hit the like button, show a buddy or two, maybe retweet it. We do appreciate it, guys. As we move forward in topics, finally, this one's neat, and we don't have to make this a giant one, but Series X and Series S are playing PlayStation games. Yes, that's right. Not only that, there's more. Nintendo, Dreamcast, the Ouya, and others. How's this working, Colt? Is this witchcraft? You got a wand?
This is pretty cool. You just every Xbox Series S or X console can be put into game development mode, and for a $20 licensing fee, you can unlock that and just bring over ROMs from the internet, and it's like the best emulation machine. So not only do you get like 3,000 or 4,000 back-compat games from the Xbox to the 360 to the Xbox One, but you can play like a massive amount of games that the PS5 can't even play that are PlayStation titles. Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, like you name it. A lot of stuff works really well, and really impressing people. Even impressing people at Xbox. Like, they're pretty happy with it. And I talked to somebody that actually is using it at Xbox, enjoying it. So kind of a cool situation. It's not something I would get into. When I thought about this, like, I just don't really play retro old games like the old like 32 and 16-bit stuff anymore. But man, there's a lot of people who can go buy a $300 Series S and leave it in dev kit mode. So you can't load up like an N64 game and then go launch Valhalla. You have to restart the console, get it out of development mode, restart the console, and then come back. Like, it's back and forth, no problems. Restarts take like 10 seconds. But like, just think about buying a Series S and using it as your retro machine, and then you keep your Series X to play all your regular games. Like,
What
pretty cool.
about like, can you play Smash Brothers N64?
Probably like
I mean, that is,
a
like,
big
that is
one.
the only retro game I'll go back and play
I heard
because I
there's
love that
like
game.
1,800 games.
Yeah, like the GoldenEye on the N64 is one game that just doesn't work. It's super choppy at like 8 frames and cuts
Hell
out. But like this guy that I watch on YouTube that has like 500,000 subscribers, he did like a really in-depth test. He tested like hundreds of games and talked about which big ones didn't work, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. Not a big
Colt, so
subject,
what
but-
did you do with the tell us what you did with that that 60 FPS Fallout 4 that they were supposed to get on these consoles? Where are you hiding that?
Oh my god.
Where is that feature? They're supposed to
it's
talk about a
hiding in-
120 frame multiplier technology, whatever they're doing in these games. They showed off Fallout
Yeah.
4 running at 60 on the the Series S, and then it exploded and died. Where are you hiding it?
All right, so I was going to do a
I would
video on
answer
this, but
that
now
one.
it's kind of too late. But I interviewed Jason Ronald like 3 weeks ago, and I asked him directly, and he gave me we can't talk about that right now. But he did say that this is something that is currently in the works, and I made the joke, like, are you going to name it after the person who came up with it like you did with the Hoji method? And he laughed, he goes, actually, we might do that.
The Aaron
So-
method.
So somebody in the back compat team or in the hardware team that figured out this doubling the frame rate, I would assume it's coming to Skyrim, Fallout 4, and any game that is built like that. I just don't know. Like, I asked him, I kind of grilled him in my interview, like, what games are eligible for this? Like, what type of games? Like, can you talk about them? And he's like, and his beard's like, no. So yeah, Jason Ronald's really cool, but it's something they're really protecting right now because they're still making sure it works across the games that they've been able to do it.
Right.
And it's going to be freaking awesome. I wish it was there at launch. This is one of those things, like, they've been working on it for like a year, right? Dealer, when we
Yeah.
talked to Bill Stillwell.
Yeah.
So
I know what I've heard is that basically they had this technology that they came about, and they started to do even more. And much like what would happen with backwards compatibility, they found out they could do different things, and that's why they pretty much stopped it, was because they saw even more potential, possibly even more games, and that's what they kind of put in the laboratory right now. But as far as them being very quiet, that is true. They've been super quiet about this, and I think it's related to, I do think that they might have some type of something going here that's going to surprise people. What and how exactly it works and what it does, we're going to all find out. But it's what they consider. I think they consider it a big deal.
Yeah. It is pretty cool. And shout out to Gaming Attic. And you're not Attic. You're not Lord Attic. Stop taking that guy's name. I'll go ahead and deal
is
with
it not
you.
the same one? Why is he a mod though?
Well,
Are you
it's
sure?
two,
He's not a mod. Yeah, I mean, you just said something so dumb, inserting words into people's mouths. Again, just here. It's not that hard. I was excited for the Fallout 4 test when we had the review, the console before launch, and unfortunately we weren't able to run that. And it's one of the cooler features. By the way, there's a mod in Skyrim that lets you run that game at 60 on Series X apparently, which is kind of interesting. I would throw that out there. I wish Fonz was here. Shout out to Fonz. He'll be back next week because Cyberpunk. There's a lot going on with Cyberpunk right now. And I guess this is where Tim can kind of go in. Anything he wants to kind of talk about on this. So they say that, first off, more than 50% of pre-orders were digital. So we're seeing an increasing trend more and more that way, especially now. And that the game, and this contrasts what's being said, I guess, behind the scenes, but the game is running surprisingly well on the Xbox One and the PS4. Tim, I mean, is there anything you want to talk about there?
Well, I'll speak to that. I've heard from pretty good source that there is some dips here. It's going to be like the Witcher 3, if you guys remember when that came out.
Witcher 3 or the original Witcher?
No, Witcher 3 on Xbox One and PS4. If you remember, it had some drops into 20s and a lot of people at first were complaining, but as Project Red goes on, they always clear this stuff up, but it takes time. So what I'm hearing is that it is indeed a a port of, well, it's coming to it's a PS4 Xbox One game that they're going to further enhance down the line, and the Xbox should be in a clear position to win that, that face off. But besides that, I've heard just from when it launches in December, I expect I'm hearing that there's drops, and I'm hearing that it's gonna have with both consoles, and there's a little rough patches. But aside from that, the game is absolutely enormous, and it's a huge undertaking of tech, and what they've done. It's just from what I've heard, like I said, the drops, and hopefully it's not about that. It's more about the game. But I wouldn't. The report that it's running very well. I kind of heard some completely different stuff. So that's just, you can take it or leave it from me.
Gotcha. Hey, 803, 830 beats. Those beats are trash. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, so basically, you expect. I mean, the Xbox One's performance wasn't that bad at launch.
Right.
I mean, it just
pretty much the same thing as which. That's what I was really kind of told. Same scenario as Witcher 3.
Okay.
But if you remember in Witcher 3, though, when it launched, it was like 20, and when in certain areas in the town, I believe, it was down to 21, 22. And, usually, listen, as gamers, you guys know, some people are really sensitive to it. And then, sometimes people take the screenshot and they post it around. That's what I think that I think maybe there's a little worry there. They don't want the game to be, lauded for its drops or whatever, rather than the game is so absolutely huge and humongous and awesome, from what I heard, that it's pretty much going to be like a Witcher 3 type experience through and through. And
no console review keys so far? Only PC?
No, I think
Damn
I
it,
think you were there. You were there for some of this conversation.
yeah, Colt. He said what he wanted to say. Keyword.
I thought somebody in here heard that they hadn't sent out any console review keys. They were all going to be on PC.
Yeah, that was, but he did.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
That's what I was getting at.
Not from that. But yeah, I heard that.
I'm sorry, Tim.
No,
Game Genie Prime showed you. Yeah, Obi-Wan disappeared again, so I guess we're gonna have to fire Obi-Wan as a moderator. No, Obi's probably got something going on. Again, wow, this arena, this game still looks so good, Randall. You want to play some Fight Night? Get fucked up?
I don't know. I saw some people in chat saying it looks like poo.
Oh, come on. It's a stream, guys. It's a stream.
The only thing that was poo is Dealer's gameplay. He's getting his ass kicked.
At least I played it. Mm-hmm. Hey,
you call that playing it?
I tried. Xbox Series X, there's an update, by the way, and they talk about a few different things here. And I'll kind of let Randall lead on this one because, of course, Randall has video. Rand, they optimized the backgrounds for the system, and they did talk about how it's supposed to improve certain aspects of performance on the console. They did add some more badges for the enhanced games. And again, dynamic themes, right? They did add more of those, right? So,
yeah, there's like 7 of them now.
So
I've been using them for a couple weeks.
So tell us what you told us in your video, because it was, what'd you say?
I said there's an update for Xbox. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. I'll talk to you later.
Wow. Well done.
No, I mean, like, it was the first major kind of update for the Xbox Series X and S. They unlocked the dynamic backgrounds. There's 7 of them now. And I think a lot of people will enjoy the 360 inspired one. Like, it's called Ripple.
Yeah.
I think I saw Jason Ronald said there was some performance fixes and stuff, but that necessarily wasn't really explained in the blog post, just kind of stuff they fix, all the time. You can pre-install certain games in Game Pass, so like, game comes out, you can just immediately play it day one. The optimized tags, so you know what games are optimized for Series X versus like just running in back compat. I think that was really the majority of it. If I'm trying to remember what else they talked about in that article, but and auto HDR is now flagged when you actually hit the guide button, it'll display auto HDR if it's running in auto HDR. So not really anything
Where's that flag
big,
at?
although what am I playing with?
Where's the flag at in the guide?
top right underneath like your gamer score and the time and the date. It'll have it like it'll be a little icon that says auto HDR.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I think that's mostly it. I do believe they did release like a huge update for Alpha Skip Ahead for their build from February of next year. So maybe we'll start seeing some new things creep across. And not exactly like the biggest update, but I don't know. The dynamic themes are pretty cool. I'd be interested in seeing what you would choose, Dealer. You gonna keep the old one or use a new one?
You know, believe it or not, I haven't even got a chance to look through them. And I'm sure that, you know, it's a dynamic theme. I like the one that's on it, but I'll definitely look through them. I do think that Colt Eastwood, he said there was one of like a dude on a rocking horse, basically. That's the one he put in the background, and it actually rocks like a holographic Pokemon card. So
no, it's turn up on a skateboard. It's my favorite.
Oh no, that's Dirt 5. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. They're optimizing it still. So,
I just like that the game art, when you load a game, will drop in the background. So I'm not really excited about dynamic themes unless I can get like a theme for a game, like PlayStation was doing last generation. So. Oh, well,
in which they stopped doing this gen.
Yeah. This for that, I guess.
Yeah, always a negative. Or
I mean, people were complaining that the Xbox kept the same dashboard and didn't give you a new experience, but then people are having problems with the design of the new dashboard on the PS5, not some things not working correctly. It's all, you know, this for that. You get a new experience, but you have to work out some of the wrinkles. You're on the Xbox. Like there are still some wrinkles, even though it's the same dashboard. So,
well, I mean, I guess we can go ahead and move forward since you guys sound like you need some Zoloft right now.
No, I have a question. Maybe Rand can help answer this, even though this goes back to 2 subjects ago. I heard that, I don't know if this is true, that they took on Xbox, they took away background music. Do you know if that's true or is
on Xbox?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean you can still listen to Spotify and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he was complaining to me, and I was like, I don't know.
Who was complaining to you, Tim? Name names.
We need names.
We need with thief.
I'm fast.
Some random Twitter guy that
was his name Xbox Sucks 42.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, yeah, I guess again, it's still cool to see them at least pushing out software, considering they forgot to do that with the APIs and all that stuff. Let me go ahead and yes,
I said a lol.
Lol. There is, I just want to throw this out there real quick. Metro Exodus developer did say they are sending out a free upgrade for that game. And by the way, it's not a bad game. I think I gave it like a 7.8, same as Days Gone. You know, I enjoyed the game. I thought it looked incredible, and it's going to look even better after this. So you get a free update in early 2021, I do believe. 60 FPS, ray tracing. They do say higher resolution, but it was already native 4K on the X.
Wait, wait. So Metro is going to run it at 60 and ray tracing, or are they going to have 2 separate modes?
I just grabbing the bullet points. I mean, anytime they say ray tracing and 60 FPS separately, I just say it like that.
Yeah.
And I always, end up getting around to, well, who knows?
Metro was already like one of the best looking games on Xbox One X, alongside like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I always laugh when people say like Xbox doesn't like games don't look good. It's like, are you serious?
Or they use first party as the example of only what's possible.
One X was outputting some incredible looking games. And like what Control? I was reading Control. Looks like it's going to be getting a 60 frames mode.
Yes.
And a ray tracing mode. So
that needs to happen. Control needs to be 60 FPS. And by the way, it needs a redesigned map. That's the most trash map in the history of gaming. Everyone agrees. Just, it's not that hard to figure out. But you're right, Rand. 60 FPS ray tracing. Maybe they'll do it separately. Maybe they'll cut the resolution and do it together. I think developers should do that. But that's just my opinion. They are sending it out for free. And they said, the load times and stuff will be a lot faster as well. So, crap. I remember when you were booting up Metro, I said, dude, you got to see this crap.
We were in the party.
You got to see it.
It blew my mind, dude.
He's like, is this real? Like, I can play this?
Hell, this looks amazing.
Yeah.
God.
Looks really good. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there for the people. I got 2 messages about it. And I said, so we can make it a short one. Zalker, Sea of Thieves is getting several substantial updates in 2021. And apparently your favorite game is going to get even better to you.
Yeah, they talked about having a November update, but they kind of like told people, hey, relax with it. It's just to fix a couple bugs, do a couple things here and there. It's a pretty big update in like a technical standpoint, but they've talked about like they haven't brought out that much. Like they brought out some events here and there that I've played and gone back. I kind of wait for 1 or 2 events to come out, and then I'll go. You guys will see me. I'll go hard for like 2 weekends on it. And then they've talked about 2021 that Sea of Thieves is actually still growing a lot, and that it's not slowing down at all, and that they have a lot of stuff planned for 2021, and that they're going to be talking about it very soon. But especially if the November update was just like a bug fix and not a content like dump, then that means they have something pretty big planned for beginning 2021, or probably around, I want to say March or April, because that's like usually where they drop pretty big content so far traditionally.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I want to see what it is. I don't know, I love that game, so just give me more content and I'm gonna play it.
It's funny because I played it one night. I was actually in chat with Colt, and I was in the game. I just random slooped it, and I made 4 friends and made an alliance. And I have to say, the game is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I have a question for you, because this regards Sea of Thieves and what we're talking about. And I remember you knew something about it, and he also made another hint at it. They keep talking about this thing that everyone's asking for, the big surprise. I don't know, maybe it has to do with Shroud or whatever that, not Shroud, that's stupid.
Flameheart?
Yeah, Flameheart. What is that? What do you think that's going to be a part of this thing? Because I think that was originally, like you said, talked about, and then you said we would hear about it, and COVID hit, and then we all forgot about it. What is that though?
So Flameheart's just this big character that's been stalking the world. You can see like everywhere on pretty much almost every island story things they've brought out. Flameheart is like the center of it. It's kind of like the freaking Thanos in the background. And then he's had like a bunch of story beats, bunch of storylines that you do, and he has a long history in Sea of Thieves. Like they've been hinting at him since the beginning. Like the art on islands have hinted at him since the game released. Right. So like there's just a lot of things about him out there. He's invaded with like ghost ships, and as you're fighting them, like he's yelling at you. There's
is he red? Isn't he red? Wasn't he the one that's like
he's like a big red like ghost in the sky. Start talking shit. Because like he's trapped somewhere. Like he's trapped somewhere, but like they've been talking about him for a long time, and he's why like there's a he's the reason why there's like cursed cannonballs. Like he's a big reason why. Like there's a lot of things that like he's added into the game. It's because of him. So I think that's what they're bringing next year. I hope it is that you actually get to fight him, and like it's like his release comes out, and it's gonna be some crazy shit. So like I've played every story beat that involves him. And it's pretty awesome. I don't know, man. I know people are like, there's no story. It's like, yeah, there is. You just need to pay the fuck attention.
You know what it is? It's kind of make your own stories. Because like we did I think we did the Forsaken one, where basically even when we were being raided as the slope, we were being raided by this other ship. And then I'm like, how proximity chat comes in. So I'm like asking the guy, I'm like, are you going to kill me? And he's like, no. He's like, you got to kill me because we're trying to.
I'm going to kill you.
I was just going to say, you're playing the game wrong. You did an alliance. I don't know what the fuck that means. You kill everybody. Come on, Tim.
No, but so he said, but here was the thing. They had to be killed in order to do their.
They were doing the Fort of the Dam. So the Fort of the Dam makes you do a bunch of stuff to get lanterns from the Fort of the Dam. And so from the like where you die, and so you get different lanterns. Like you have to die to like poison or drowning or sharks or lightning, and then you take them all to this island that's covered in like a fog. So when you go there, people can't see how many ships are there, and it's a big old like skull fort that is multiple with boss, like a big ass boss at the end.
Yeah, that's the one that we fought. Is that when you put the blue lanterns or the red lanterns on the skeletons, like they come in red, and you have to put the red. Yeah, and then you fight that huge guy at the end.
Yep, you fight that big boss at the end. Yeah, I wait for people to do it, then I steal it from them, and then they get mad and try to report me. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, well,
there you go. Sea of Thieves.
It's gonna
dealer's dying.
It's gonna get updates, guys. More updates for Sea of Thieves to add the other 89% of the game. We've also got some Game Pass updates for you guys. Unfortunately, Call Colt Eastwood's clocked out, so we're going to go ahead and just move on to this, okay?
Dare you?
Hey, Colt, tell me why they're adding the regular-ass version of Control to Game Pass and not the definitive edition.
Cheap.
Oh, okay. So Control's coming. What is that? Haven's coming. Call of the Sea. Ukulele. Slime Rancher. Oh, Colt, you're going to love that. Assetto Corsa. Greedfall. Dragon Quest 11. And Unto the End. Now, there are more, but some are for mobile. This is kind of weird. The Game Pass Ultimate's one big service, and it works on all these devices, yet the games list is different. I understand why on PC, because some games just aren't on console, but it is kind of weird how some of these aren't available on certain platforms. Cultish.
Yeah, I don't complain. Like, I just wish they were all together. I mean, this is Game Pass. They should... I don't know why they're not bringing more PC games over to console now that they don't have severely bottlenecked CPU. So, yeah. I also think that if you're out there waving the blue and orange flag for Banjo-Kazooie to come back, you better, get every achievement in that ukulele game, because that's basically your Banjo game.
That's what I've been saying forever.
Made by the same people that made Banjo-Kazooie. They just changed a couple of syllables. Ukulele. And Rand says it's fire.
Yeah, I mean that is the same developers, basically, right? It's basically Banjo. We even got two animals in it, right? Like,
it is Banjo. Yeah, it's just like it's Banjo without the copyright infringement. And I always ask people like, Colt, why don't you want Banjo? I'm like, did you finish ukulele? No, I haven't really got around to it. Then don't worry about Banjo until you finish ukulele. But I don't want to play ukulele. Okay. I'm rude. I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, I mean, you even made a video about how fuck Banjo. Basically, you should have just called that video "Fuck Banjo." It did a lot better.
I don't want to see Banjo before I see a mature game.
Fuck Banjo with the ukulele.
If I see Banjo, I'm fucking losing my mind.
Yep. If Lord Attic was in the chat, he would get so mad. Convenient.
Yeah.
I will say though, like them putting aren't they putting EA Play on PC in December also, so you can play like Battlefield or whatever, all those other games. Yeah, on EA Play. They were talking about like it's coming in December, and then Doom Eternal for PC is coming on Game Pass also. If you get like other like more achievements for doing it on PC, because I know Rage 2, if you play it on, like I beat Rage 2 on Xbox, Doom Eternal on Xbox, I got like the achievements I wanted on them. If I get more achievements like doing it on PC, I'll fucking replay those games.
Yeah, you need some more achievements, boy.
I do need some more achievements. I do. Send me your Barbie games, 1 through 1,000.
You know he already played him. You can't gift him now.
Yeah,
that's right.
Hey, Zero Encryption, man. How'd you get just? I mean, videos on this channel of developers that have worked in the system already saying these things. I guess he's fighting with himself because he doesn't want to like look into shit as to why certain things are happening with the hardware. But yeah, it's really not that big a deal. I mean, it sucks, and it is what it is. So I want to go ahead and I guess Game Pass. I mean, also D-Batch. I think it's time we just go ahead and get the guillotine on Games with Gold because they just trash every month.
Hell yeah.
But ever since Game Pass, that's the one drawback, and I think you'll see the same thing on the other side in time.
Yeah, just abandon it. It's really embarrassing at this point. Games are really, they're like, I'm sorry, they're like games you find at the dollar store, man. Like it's just pretty bad, man. I don't understand the point of it. Like at least put a couple good games into like some games that perhaps are in Game Pass already, but have been in Game Pass for a significant amount of time. Okay, throw those into Games with Gold, but they gotta have some better games in there. Like Sony, honestly, Sony is really killing it with their games that they give away for free, and competition, is good and it should breed better products, but we're not seeing that with Games with Gold. Like I said on last week's podcast, on the PlayStation 5, as soon as you log into it, if you have a PlayStation Plus account, you get like 25 games, and like these aren't like crappy games. These are like really good games, like Days Gone and like God of War. Like these are top-notch games that they're giving away for free, and Microsoft really needs to up their game here. I'm disappointed with their offerings. It doesn't affect me because I have, I'm a subscriber, so I'm an ultimate subscriber. So I have it for PC, I have it for the console, so I get everything. So it doesn't affect me per se, but I don't want to be selfish and just think about myself because there's many gamers out there that don't have that service. And, Games with Gold, offered them some value outside of the obviously the online connectivity, and they're just not getting it with those games. They're just really bad.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting the approach that they've taken there. But I don't remember who it was. They were saying this was going to happen, and it made sense then, and it makes sense now. So I guess we will have to kind of see what happens there. I do want to give a shout out to Asha Luga again in the chat. She's making me laugh. Also, crap, I lost it. Oh, here we go. Fernando, Fernando, if I can fucking find it here. You know what? I will come back to it because I messed that up. But yeah, I mean, he's basically saying that, you know, you can't complain for the money on these systems. Like, everybody just finding negative shit. Like, it gets old. Like, that's why I don't get on Twitter a whole lot, because there's always someone bitching in my feed about some shit. You know, people don't care about this stuff. Like, no one cares. So, you know, get on there to try to promote gaming and have fun and positivity, and maybe give an opinion or two every now and then on whatever. But aside from that, it's just too much. There's too many people that complain more than anything, and it adds up. I guess that's why it seems so substantial, right? So I don't know, Tim. You're on there a lot. I know you because that's your platform right there. Tim's like the fucking Tom Brady.
Honestly, after the launch, and you know, I honestly have been staying away from the negativity. Just not arguing as much. Some of the stuff is futile. Like, you know, I'm not going to argue, you know, with the. I did say that they should outperform, and I hold still to that. But I have to bide my time there, and you know, wait until it actually shows. But just, you know, listen, I would take away the main negative thing really is that people can't get these awesome systems, whether it's PS5 or Xbox. There are so many people that want these systems, and so many people can't get them. And it, you know, I mean, it's going to be like a 4-month thing too, a 5-month thing. I don't see it, you know, falling off. So I think, to be honest, that's the biggest story right now. I think you have a lot of people that are, you know, in next gen, but you also have a lot of people that want to be in next gen that can't. And I noticed that within Twitter. It's just like there's not as much. There's still the stupidity and stuff, but I think you just have a real anticipation of people who want to get their Xboxes, and I hope that PlayStation and Xbox can figure something out. But I mean, it's looking grim to get anybody. If you didn't get an Xbox, or your parents didn't get it yet, if you're a kid and you're waiting for it, you're not getting one.
My coworkers think they're going to get one for Christmas, and I just like laugh at them. They're like, "No, man, I'll find one."
So
They're like, it's not going to be a big deal. And I told them, like, you're not going to find any of the consoles, man. Like, unless you camp out like these other people have for like 85 days beforehand, like, you're not going to get it.
I will say this though. This week though, we have had a couple of rushes. Yesterday and today, Walmart has had PS5s in store at that. Xbox Series X and PS5s have been showing up at Target. Some people walked into Walmart, saw a couple of Xbox Series X in the cabinets. So there is some availability. Yesterday, I believe it was the Xbox store in Canada, we had some Series X's available. Yesterday, not the Microsoft store, what was it? I think it was Best Buy yesterday. Yes, I tweeted out. Best Buy yesterday had some Series X's. Today in Canada, Best Buy had some Series X. So they're coming in, and I would say both of them, even the PlayStation 5, if you go into the Sony Direct queue, it's available there. But they're selling out like within a minute, and like people are saying, "Oh, Xbox is not selling." Listen, when the Xbox is available, it's not available for more than a couple of minutes,
20 seconds.
Yeah, and then it's out of stock. The same thing for the PlayStation. So these consoles are selling like crazy. I will say one thing that I did notice because I have a lot of retail contacts, and you know, I can see what's going on in retail. Let's leave it at that. And the Xbox Series S, it's selling, but surprisingly, it's not selling as much as I thought it would sell. It really seems at this point that everybody either wants the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5, and so a lot of people do get the Series X.
That's what Phil Spencer admitted, that's what's probably was going to happen in the beginning, because a lot of the people buying stuff are hardcore. Like, it's the hardcore people. Like, people have talked about, like, there's articles out there saying Xbox is breaking records, Sony is breaking records. And the thing that they're doing is they could have broke way more records if they just had more units out. Like everywhere that
Yeah,
they're
I
saying they're
think
breaking records, they're completely sold out. So it's it's like both of them are pretty even. I think Sony has more units out because obviously Phil said they started production in late summer. So like Sony's going to win the NPD, but it's just it's just like the NPD doesn't mean anything because there's everybody's selling out. It's all gone.
That's what they say.
Fast enough, man.
Yeah, that's why they say the real battle's in 2021, and that
the end of 2021.
Yes, and that's when
That's when Forza Horizon 5 will come out.
Forza Horizon 5, Starfield, and Halo, and Wolfenstein 3. Yeah.
I will say,
Jeez.
that there does seem to be more hype on the PlayStation 5, though. I'll admit that. It was
more popular console, but
people are
I honestly, from what I heard, I heard something so crazy this weekend that it may, this what Xbox did and waited for, some of these RDNA features. The one thing that we'll be talking about in the future is something called super resolution. And from what I'm hearing, the super resolution is so good to the point where if you're even running like 774p, let's just say odd resolution, it is so good that it passes almost for a 4K image. Or like if you're like a 1296p, it'll be like better, just as good as a native 4K image, and that really makes the S a player. When that happens, when people realize that, and if it really takes off, and supposedly it's gonna take off, and Xbox has added, I believe, 2 CU units for it, and
see that's what I want to touch on that real quick. Not to cut you off, sorry, I'll let you.
No, go ahead. You go further.
I say real quick, the machine learning, or this what you're talking about here, a lot of people don't realize that the Series S and the Series X, they actually have dedicated hardware in there that accelerates it. I think it's up to 10 times or something like that.
Yeah, 10
times. When it's used. So once they start to use that, you're gonna, like we've been talking about the gap that we're gonna see. You're really gonna start to see the gap. And I'll say, as someone who has an RTX 3080, and I've been able to experience DLSS. Now, the first iteration of DLSS, I didn't like it. It was fucking garbage. I thought the image looked horrible. I just didn't like it, and I was down on it for a long time. But the newest version of DLSS, I can't even front, man. Like, I know it's not the native resolution, but my eyes don't tell me that. And I love it for games that have ray tracing. For instance, like Watch Dogs. If I turn ray tracing on, even with my 3080, I'm getting like 30 frames per second. If I want like the very good ray tracing on that game, I'm getting 30 frames per second, which I don't want. And if I turn DLSS on, I'm getting like 60 plus frames per second on that game. So it makes a big difference. And I think that's an area where the Xbox Series S and, like you said, the X are really going to, and they start to use these features. RDNA 2 is no joke. Microsoft knew what they were doing, waiting for all these features, and they've added stuff on top of it because the accelerated hardware that's inside of the Series S and X, that's something that Microsoft did to get better performance out of their own machine, their direct machine learning, or whatever they call it. I think it's called Microsoft Machine Learning, or whatever it's called.
DirectML.
Yeah, DirectML. So it's going to be amazing. Like, we are in for a treat this generation, and the Xbox Series X has a host of features that I can't wait until they start getting used.
Yeah.
By the way, D, while you're talking, we have a question from Cherry in the super chat, who does basically want to know the most affordable 4K TV with 120 hertz.
I would probably go with a LG NanoCell, the NanoCell 85. I would go with that. It's got 4K, it's got 120 hertz, it's got VRR, it's got FreeSync, it's got all the features that...
How much cheaper is it than OLED?
It's a lot cheaper than an OLED.
Okay.
Man.
If you're worried about that, then there you go.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. The only downfall with that TV is that it doesn't have the best local dimming. But, we're looking in the budget sets now, and, you're getting 4K 120 hertz.
Right.
So, you get what you get. But that's the TV I would get at that price point.
The Geeky Nerd, I guess he's on one tonight. I guess it's that time for him. He says they're making games that go trash, so when they finally kill it, people won't actually care. But I thought competition was supposed to be good. it wouldn't exist in the first place if not for Competition Genius. So again, thanks for your input. We do appreciate it. And all the things we said about certain, all that stuff. If you want to hear it, go back, check out the show at the beginning. We do have another topic. And thanks to everyone watching live, guys. Hit the like button. We do appreciate it. Share it out with a buddy or two as we move on to Phil Spencer's latest big interview. And he does talk about the future of Xbox software, the launch of the system, and praise it. I mean, this might have been something different, but he did praise the DualSense as well, by the way. So Phil's always been one of those guys like, hey, I'm going to give props on what these guys do better than us, and we're going to try to do it better where we can. And in my opinion, and I guess that's why I prefer Xbox, they do a lot of things better. Now, time will tell on some of the other stuff. It is what it is. Randall,
he did say they were going to put a sniffing sensor on the next Xbox controller.
I do remember that. Yeah, he did do that.
Scratch it first.
Yeah, you had to scratch it. Hey, Randall, tell. Go ahead and lead away on this newest interview from Phil.
Lead away! Oh my god!
Lead away!
I did a video about this like a week ago.
It's perfect.
I gotta
delve
back into my. Colt just did a video about it today, though. He might be a little bit more fresh on the
Randall,
information.
is your name Colt?
No.
All right, Colt, back to you.
So this is the interview where he talks about like Game Pass, and like how the payment structures are like kind of varied, which I thought was incredibly interesting. I mean, it was an interview where he talked basically about how he sees gaming in the future. There was the whole talk about the console war and how he finds it incredibly distasteful, and would be the one thing he would like push him away from the industry, which I totally agree with. Like there's some just fucking assholes, pieces of shit on Twitter and on YouTube that
Jesus. I thought you were just talking about people breaking into your house while you're doing a podcast.
Dude, no, I mean seriously, like you see them all the time, not only in your show, but my show and my comments, just fucking morons, dude.
Well, it's like Phil said. He said like 3 times. Maybe I'm I'm making that too light. I think he wanted to say what Rand is saying.
Yeah,
there's these fucking morons.
Like Sony has to die for Xbox to succeed, or vice versa. Like the pure hate, like I don't get that. I'm not down with that. He talked about like the promise, and he knows that first party's got to deliver, and that people want to play new great games on their new system, and they totally know that. And it's just like that's why they bought all these studios. The Bethesda. I mean, we've talked about this on your podcast, mine, videos, everybody's videos, Zucker's videos. Like you're talking about Phil, who inherited a complete sinking ship from Don Matrick under Terry Myerson, with a budget cut, with the new CEO coming in who didn't know why they were in gaming in the first place, wanted to get rid of it.
Right.
Phil somehow convinced him to not only keep Xbox around, but also invest more in gaming than Microsoft had ever done, to the point where you started this generation with 6 studios and you're ending it with essentially 23 studios. You're going to have more games than you ever had before. And you have this, amazing brand new console and all these different things that they're doing with xCloud. They're going to put Xbox everywhere on the PC. It's going to be on your smart TVs via an app and all these different things. And it's a super awesome interview to understand how Phil Spencer views gaming, Xbox, competition, all that stuff. Like it is definitely like a must read.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, well,
one of the things that I thought was interesting about it, you brought it up too. It was another article that talked about this. There was a time really where Xbox was, the CEO Satya didn't really have a reason, and Phil's major task wasn't really to sell to us. It was really to sell to the company and get them behind Xbox. There were definitely growing pains with that, but he now has full backing, full control. There's nobody above him. Like the whole thing for Xbox totally changed, and it's just crazy to think how close it really was to being, shipped out or not or segmented off.
Well, there was a guy I remember years ago, A Way Out. One of the lead developers of A Way Out talked about Phil Spencer, and he said Phil Spencer has done more for gaming and Xbox than anybody's going to realize. And I remember him saying that, and people were and I don't even think I was on YouTube at that time. And I wasn't even in the community. And I remember seeing people like just fucking go crazy about what he said. And they were like, bullshit, he hasn't done anything. Just going crazy, like foaming at the mouth. And it's like, I think, obviously, like there's relationships there, right? Like that guy knows Phil or whatever. Right. And I think this stuff that we are learning years down the line is what that guy's talking about. Is that it's like all this toxicity and all these toxic fans that just want to like harp on negativity. It's like, get over it, enjoy your games, and if you're not going to enjoy the games, stop talking about them because you're not a goddamn gamer. Move on.
I really liked also how Phil mentioned. He like talked about what he learned from the 3 CEOs he worked under, like Bill Gates, and Ballmer and Satya, and how Bill Gates said that you're not a real platform unless someone else makes more money on your platform than you do.
Yeah, makes more product on your platform.
Yeah, which Cole talked about in his video, and like when he talked about Game Pass, we mentioned earlier, like all these games coming to Game Pass in December, like Control and Dragon Quest, and all these indies that are launching day and date, and all the stuff on PC. And like to see where it's going to go and how they have this plan for it, like it's an incredible like interview to understand what Xbox is going for. But like for me, it's all just like even privately, and Tim can attest to this. Like I always told Phil the biggest thing for me was games, and you can say all you want, like Phil used to be like, I'm going to invest, and we didn't see it. And then he did, and he did way more than I ever thought he would. So it's like, that's what I wanted from Xbox. Like I wanted a like fully decked out first party, tons of developers making tons of different type of games. And it's unfortunate that it took all the way until now for them to actually do it. Where Phil talked about his misgivings of not being able to invest back during the 360 era, but like finally it got to the point where it's like this is exactly what I've wanted Phil and company to do. Like all these studios making games for Xbox, just in the way that all the Sony studios do for PlayStation, where you have 2-3 games every single year, but it's going to be even more because there's so many different studios. Like. And then you combine it with like the console, and oh my god, like everything's gonna be mostly 60 frames with all this load. Like it's gonna be so fucking amazing. Yeah. Like and I'm just really excited about it. So and I've said that constantly, but Tim knows because Tim's been in there when I've told Phil that.
I've seen it in action. I remember the day too. When we were on our old show, and Rand was the host, and we came up to the show, and he goes, "Tim, they're canceling Scalebound." Scalebound. This is
when I told you they were canceling Scalebound before anybody, and you didn't believe me.
Yes, no, I was just like, and then you're like, and I'm hearing that Halo and Gears are just going to be multiplayer only. And I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, no, I can't stand for this. Like if, if they're going to go this way. And, I mean, people think that, I just kiss Phil's ass and all that stuff. The fact is that year I was critical to their face and critical also on Twitter. And, I made it clear that, I'm not here to cheerlead something that I don't like have full behind. They have to create games. And, to say the least, I'm very happy the way they went. But, a lot of the stuff, too, that Rand talked about and me knew, like the stuff with Terry Myerson, that all is true. Like, that all is, like, you find out things after the fact.
No, because certain people didn't know it. It's an excuse.
I mean, there were, there were things like, that went on. And, I don't think Phil really had the most easiest time when he first came, especially, he basically, you talk about, he inherited the sinking ship and somehow, some way he got it going. And now it's to the point where, he might go even too far. Like if he buys another developer or another publisher, like what are you gonna say? It could just I mean, they have 23 studios. They're organically growing in every aspect. They're just. I think what the show we all talked about too. We're very happy with next gen. It's just unfortunately you're back to that waiting queue, waiting for games, waiting for the optimization, waiting for fixes, and that is frustrating. But I think they nailed it, both systems and just next gen in general. We've gotten everything that we've complained and wanted for the whole entire last gen. We've gotten it answered, and I think we should be a little happier.
I think we should get another Fight Night game. It's been too fucking long. This game's like 10 years old.
Boxing game coming. I posted it, but
yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw it a while ago, but unless it handles like Fight Night, like this Champion's such a good game. Like I really didn't appreciate this game back then, and I've just been playing the hell out of it. Again, I'm on the right side of the screen in this footage, and we're doing crazy shit. Like we're just throwing haymakers and having fun with it, making our own guys and all that stuff. But it's Fight Night Champion. You can play it on the Xbox Series X. It loads fast as hell. You can play it on the Xbox One from 2013. It's a good time.
You think these guys don't like to make money? I don't understand why we don't have another Fight Night. Like how long ago did that game release? How many years ago?
I mean, I think they don't. It's the boxing license. That team went to the UFC games, which I don't think are done justice on a controller because there's just not enough buttons and systems built to really do all the possibilities in MMA justice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they do a pretty good job, though the controls are quite complex. But I do understand what you're saying. But another Fight Night, it's a fucking no-brainer. You could have all the legends that we have, and of course all the new school Wilder, Tyson. Like, I don't understand why we don't have a Fight Night in 2020.
I think it's coming after what UFC pushed out that load of garbage. UFC 4, where we've talked about how it looked downgraded, how some of the things like they do with the fluidity is cool, but just not. Honestly, it makes a lot of sense for them to make a boxing game. You could even use stupid people like Jake Paul, who's now a professional boxer, or whatever. You could just do so. You could do so much.
Or even so, to speak on that, why don't we have another Def Jam Vendetta game with all the current rappers that we have now, with all the old school rappers and Jake Paul and like all these YouTube celebrities? I don't like. Do you guys like? If any developer watching this, do you guys like to make money? Because that's like a no-brainer.
Hang on, Colt. What were you saying?
We need a boxing game with Dealer in it.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying that because something happened or you needed my attention.
Colt's just signaling to you. He's hungry. He's about to go. What'd you say he was going to go delve into a puddle or something? Or
I don't melt into a puddle. I don't need to eat. My nourishment is the RDX crew and all this awesome news about
That's
Xbox.
kind of a weird way to say that you like us.
Nourishment.
The nourishment of 42 frames of screen tears. That's all I need.
Hey, I got to give a little bit of a shout out here to say I don't know, Sayin JT. He says, thanks for the content, guys. Can we get an F in the chat for all of those who couldn't cop a PS5 or Series X or S? Thank you so much. F if you weren't able to get a new console, and something else if you were. Cherry, by the way, says most possibly affordable for. Okay, that's the one I already got, and I know I skipped a few others. Crap. Friendly Neighborhood Blue Shell. I didn't miss it. I was just going to try to get to these, brother. He says, missed first super chat of mine. Keep up the podcast. I'll get to it. Dark CMF says, people forget that consoles launched in the past. Halo was a launch title on the OG Xbox, and 3 awesome new consoles. It is a great time to be a gamer. Yes, that is the message of the day from Dark CMF. Shout out to you, brother. We've also got There's Man. He says maybe they'll actually release multiplayer as early access as they did with Grounded. Yeah, perhaps. I think Grounded is what that is. I think that is the game, Grounded. They just give you a small piece of it. Tim M. He says PlayStation will continue this trend in 2021 with the Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Ratchet, God of War 2, GTA 7 or Gran Turismo 7, excluding possible remasters. How is that if Horizon Zero Dawn is confirmed to be a cross-gen game, one that you guys said would be held back? Odd. Z Black Rider, he says consoles Finally released. Okay, I got that one. So again, shout out to everyone in the super chat. Let me get Blue Shells. I can't miss this. Friendly neighborhood Blue Shells. He says, a toast to all the people like me without a next-gen console and a blue shell to all scalpers. Yes. The blue shell is the most deadly shell for those listening. Scalpers, I mean, that issue has been horrible, right, Zalker? Like, have you heard of certain things on this?
For which one?
Like,
the scalper thing?
Yeah, like they're just buying up all these systems. But we also know people in the community that are like, yeah, I'm scalping, you know, and I
know a bunch of people that have actually like paid, I think it was like $900 or $800 for an Xbox Series X or a PS5. And I'm just like, why did you do that? They're like, I just can't find it. I'm like, yeah, those people that you paid that money for, that's the reason why. Because those stupid assholes that buy, like, I think scalpers were like, they were like praising themselves. They were like, I got 1,000 PS5s. I got 1,000. You know,
there was a group in the UK that had 3,500 PS5s.
It's fucking ridiculous.
3,500 PS5, and then
couldn't I just pay one of them to click the button fast for me and get me one shit?
A website like eBay or something like that in UK actually deactivated their account, so they can't even sell them online. Like they were like, all right, well, get shit on. So I don't know how they're going to sell it now, you know, like, you know, on the corner, come get your, you know, like selling it on the corner over there. But I hate these scalpers. They have like bots that were getting in queue. And as a person, like, you know, me and D, when D was trying to help me get a PS5, we were like in queue or just like trying to get something. And he was like, go now, Zalker. And I just know those bot guys were in the back, just grabbing them all up. And I want to teleport electronically in front of their computer and beat the shit out of them. So, you know, there's me.
Yeah, it's freaking terrible. This in Canada this week, I think it's Thursday. Walmart is having a drop, and like it's just gonna be bananas. And I'm hearing from, I don't know how different it is this side of the world. Well, because we're pretty much North America too, but it might be a little bit different in the States. But I'm pretty much hearing that the last major drops that we're gonna be getting for both of these consoles is like December 12th. So if you don't find one by December 12th, you know you're gonna have to
wait until next year.
Yeah, you're pretty much you might get lucky and get a 1-2 here and there, but for the most part, I'm expecting this stuff to dry up after the 12th of December, and yeah, we're gonna go into next.
My good friend actually messaged me. He's like, yeah, it says on the Walmart website 9 p.m. I'll just go on then and grab one. And I sent him the Leonardo DiCaprio like GIF thing where it's just laughing, and he's like, what? I'm not gonna be able to? I'm like, bro. And I told him, like, good luck. And then he's like, the site's not loading. I can't put it in my cart. I was like, welcome to my hell. It's like, good luck.
Yeah. Also, J-Dub is a shill. Channel member J-Dubs is a shill says, buy from scalpers. He's obviously kidding, unless he actually is a scalper, which would be horrible. No, I mean, honestly, I am just going through some of these comments here, trying to say hi to people. And again, shout out to everybody saying hi and everyone watching us live. We do appreciate it. That was our last topic. And we want to thank you so much for joining us. All of you guys still here. You guys are awesome. Yes?
I said food.
Oh, okay. Food. Yes. Very important. You got to eat that or you'll die. So yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, share it out to a buddy or two. Thanks for watching RDX podcast. We are this will obviously upload after the fact, and if you want timestamps, make them. Like, you know what I'm saying. So again, there'll be somebody in the comments that usually will make those. Check the comments. If not, you know, it's kind of like Highlander. If you get to it first, it is what it is. You're more powerful. Yeah, that's how Highlander works, right?
Always does the
timestamps
for me on my show. You know.
Yeah, shout out to Haz as well, who is 90% cyborg now, and he has powers that none of us can even fathom. So Hazador's awesome. I've been talking to him forever. That's the guy that's been in the chat and in the comments since his name is DJ. Like, he's been around. And there's a lot of guys in the chat that have been around forever. Shout out to all you guys. Shout out to the channel members, the green names and the cool badges. If you want to become a channel member, hit the join button. All the patrons, I'll be updating that soon, doing another giveaway. And everyone who showed up, Luca, moderator Luca in the chat as well, Greg, E3 Egg, Deck, all you guys, you're awesome. We got to go, though, and we got to do some outros. So, again, Cold Eastwood, tell us, what have you been playing, and where can people find you, man?
I've been playing Valhalla, like almost 80 hours. I've been playing a little bit of Miles Morales. I'm like 2 or 3 hours into that. Yeah, I'm just having a good time. Just took some time off and just spend it with family, like most of us have been doing. Just kind of relaxing and enjoying it. Like it was the big run up to this. We were waiting for all this news to drop and for the next gen console to come out, for them to finally release, and then the games to be ready. You know, the big games to come out, and then that was this. You know, so yeah, thanks for being patient with me while I was not making videos and dealers not making videos.
I'm gonna unsubscribe.
Brandon Zocker made $1
video.
million.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
unsubscribe. You didn't make a video in 2 weeks. I'm gonna unsubscribe.
Yeah, well, that's how it is. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can find me at Colt Eastwood on Twitter and YouTube, and thanks.
Follow Colt, makes good stuff. Also, I want to give a shout out to the mods once again, Lethal, all the mods that were here and supporting the show, and crap.
It's Mod Obi who got fired.
Mod Obi just said, "Fuck y'all, I'm out."
Yeah,
shout out
Obi's
to him.
like, I'm done with this. Dealer doesn't pay me enough.
Also, all the triggered little Sony fanboys, they got upset because the word downgraded next to PS5 is in my title, even though I defended the system and said it wasn't downgraded. Fuck you. How about that? Hey, also, we got D-Batch here. Tell people where you've been and what you've been playing.
You guys can find me at D_batch on Twitter, dbatch on YouTube. And like you guys, I've kind of been taking a break. It's like the launching of these consoles is like a big adrenaline dump. And, I'm a little bit burnt out from the lead up to this. And now I just want to like sit back and just enjoy these consoles and enjoy the new tech that I've got. I got a 6800 XT AMD card. I've spoken about my RTX 3080. So I've been testing those out. Of course, the consoles. I've been building systems. So it's just been a really, really crazy time. And I got to say, I'm really just enjoying myself for once. I'm going to be going back to normal videos probably later this week, if not next week. Like I said, it's kind of hard to do videos right now when I just want to enjoy the new tech. And I think everybody here on the panel has earned it as we put content out throughout the year, and it's the holiday season. So I kind of think this is like the off season, and we're going to get back onto the season, I guess, in January. Of course, I'm going to put stuff out before then, but yeah, man, I'm just relieved that next gen is finally here and we can enjoy these games. It was a great show tonight. Thanks for coming on, Rand, Zocker. It was just a great show, man. I had a good time, and I can't wait to get off and get back into my PlayStation, and hopefully it stops artifacting.
He just referenced me like I was a guest. He's like, thanks for coming, Rand Zalker. Like I don't belong here. Fuck
the
you.
last we heard, you're those fly-by-night operations. So we don't know how long you're around. So.
Yeah. If you missed it at the beginning, D was talking about a system is having that artifacting issue, so he kind of laying low for a minute. Hopefully a patch comes.
Yeah.
We've also got Zalker87, buddy. Tell us what you've been playing and where can people find you?
I've been playing a lot of Miles Morales, beat it, did like everything on the map, didn't play it twice, didn't get the plat, I just did what I wanted, and I had a great time playing it, and then I moved on to Valhalla, which I think I have like 5 or 6 hours in, so I've been playing that last night and like a bunch every night I can, and then I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty Black Ops. That game is a lot of fun on zombies. I've been playing that with my coworkers. We have a freaking blast. We're trying to get all the achievements on the zombies. There's a lot of little Easter eggs in there. It's dancing zombies. Like, it's freaking hilarious. Like, it's a good time. And then actually over the weekend, I played Switch. I played Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity at my girl's house, and that game runs like shit. It dips to like 9 frames per second. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. The game's fun. Like, I was like doing combos and having fun and all that, but man, that frame drops hard. And I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, I apparently have a look on my face. I'm like, what the fuck? And she's just like, this is right. I'm like, no. I was like, this FPS is killing me. I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I feel like I'm watching a slideshow. So yeah, but it's a fun game here and there. And that's what I've been playing. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Zalker87 and YouTube Zalker87 or your recommends. And Dealer, thanks for having us on. And chat, you guys are awesome. And stop the toxicity and enjoy your goddamn consoles.
We've also got Tim Dog, brother. How you been? Well, I know how you been. Where can people find you and what have you been playing?
xCloud Tim Dog on Twitter. You could also find me here every week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've been playing anything pretty much. I got all the games. I bought everything. I have Valhalla, I have Yakuza, I have NBA, which is pretty much what I've been playing the most of, I think, because I'm just really impressed. Yeah, but I've been just trying out everything and very pleasantly surprised. Not really hooked on a game. I played some of Call of Duty. I have to play that some more. But just overall, I've been playing the enhanced games, trying out everything, and I was pleased to say I'm very happy with the system, the way it moves, the way it runs. Just waiting for those, certain games that I really get, excited about, like Halo, and when that comes, it's gonna be great. Cyberpunk, I'm kind of looking forward to, but yeah, just been enjoying the system, and see you next week.
We've also got Rand Al Thor. Tell us what you've been playing and where can people find you, man.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on, Dealer. What I have been playing? I've been playing a whole bunch. Over on the PS5, I finished Miles Morales as well as Astro's Playroom and The Pathless. And I'm currently playing through Demon's Souls with Luca, one and only. And that's been a lot of fun. She basically has been my my guide through the game.
Is she carrying you? Don't lie.
I mean, she basically showing like where to go and everything. Although she's letting me do most of the killing, so it's not like, because she's like super over leveled for my world, so she like can kill everything in like 1 or 2 hits. So it's been a lot of fun. Like, and that game looks incredible. It's at 60 frames too. So, and on the Xbox, I played and finished the Call of Duty campaign, playing some Tetris Effect, which I really do enjoy, even though I suck at Tetris. Dirt 5 races here and there. I've been also playing Immortals Phoenix Rising, which I am enjoying. Just a whole bunch of games, man. It's a great time. I'm just like literally drowning in games.
Yeah, there's so
many of them.
There's so many.
So,
well,
hey, if you want to follow me, you can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RandallThor19.
Yeah,
and,
with new uploads every 37 minutes.
Yeah.
Randall, you do good work. Follow somebody else joked. You do good work. Follow Randall Thor. He's a good friend. And again, we all have fun and joke around this panel. Yeah, it's been this year's been crazy. It's been hard on everybody and a lot of people in the chat. Some of you, shout out to Y9 Power. It's just been, stories and things going on, and hang in there. It fucking sucks. 2020 will go down as the worst year since, I don't know, that group Hanson came out.
2013 when the Xbox One came out. Okay, move on.
No, God. Yeah, I mean, seriously. So it's hard times for a lot of people, and even then, I was talking to KY Bob earlier. He said the reason I still have a job is because people still need to buy cars, and it really hits you. So shout out to everybody there and everybody on the panel, everybody going through anything. Hopefully we took your mind off at least for a minute with a bad joke or two. Again, let us know your thoughts on this post. Hit the like button if you haven't. Consider subscribing, sharing it out. We do appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next RDX podcast. I did outro everybody, right? Okay. I want to double check. And Colt Eastwood's a fraud.
Wow. Thanks a lot.